Okay. Ready on my right?
Yep. You guys okay?
Good? Ready on my left? Good. Okay. All right, good evening, everybody. Calling this Village Board Meeting of Trustees to order August 24th, 2026 at 7 p.m. Clerk, can you please do roll call?
I'm sorry. Trustee Cordova?
Here.
Trustee Constados?
Here.
Trustee Kozar?
Here.
Trustee Kumar?
Here.
Trustee Sabri?
Here.
Village President Kevin Patrick? And Trustee Alfano.
Here.
Here.
Okay, if we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. All right, moving along. Do we have any amendments to the agenda? Trustee Kumar.
Yeah, Mr. President, I'd like to move to amend tonight's agenda to add the following 4 items under new business for formal board discussion and action. Ratification of the independent investigation scope. A motion to formally ratify the administrative boundaries and the scope of an active personnel review. Emergency personnel protection and a status quo directive, a directive to freeze the employment status, benefits, and core job duties of the finance director for the duration of the investigation. Digital evidence and forensic data preservation order, a mandatory order directing all elected officials and staff to preserve all digital data, phone logs, AI application metadata related to the recently distributed transcripts for review by an independent investigator, and a resolution demanding code compliance with Chapter 2 municipal stationary restrictions, a formal resolution calling out the unauthorized use of the village letterhead on August 10th, 2026, and demanding strict adherence to existing ordinances within Chapter 2 of the Village Municipal Code.
Trustee Kumar, we don't need to vote on that. We'll just put it under new business.
Okay.
Fair enough?
Okay.
All right, I'm going to expect you to lead that conversation, though. That was a mouthful.
Yes, I
Okay.
will do that.
Thank you. Trustee Constados.
Thank you. I would like to add some stuff under unfinished business.
Okay.
The parental leave that we discussed but never
Okay.
got back to. The 5-year budget plan to be revisited. And the setting, well, the other one I'll hold off on because I already talked to Director Nolan about.
Okay. So just like the other one, is that we don't need to vote on that. We'll just bring it up, and you could lead that discussion when we get to old business.
Thank you.
Fair enough?
Yep.
All right. Sounds good. So at our last board meeting, I did have a couple of suggestions from current board members that I adhere more strictly to Robert's Rule of Order, and I think that is a fair ask, so I will give it the old college try, and I'll try my best to stick to it, so that way we could try to maintain a little bit more professionalism up here, I guess. So with that being said, is there any more amendments to the agenda? Okay, seeing none, we'll go ahead and move forward to public comments on agenda items.
We have no comments on agenda items.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak on public comments on agenda items tonight that are out in the audience? Okay, seeing none, go ahead and move forward. Public comments on non-agenda items.
David?
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I was going to talk for about 20, 25 minutes. I'm David Holston from Christian Church of Villa Park, but after hearing all the add-ons to the agenda, I'll cut it down. So, First of all, I want to thank the village board and all the staff of the village for all the good work they've been doing and helping us as we begin our transition from where we are on Villa Avenue to the St. Charles location. We're thinking probably around the 1st of October. It looks like a good date, barring any major unforeseen thing. So we thank you. We're looking forward to being a storefront church. We are a mission church, and I want to update the board on a few things that we have been doing this year, similar to what I told you when I last appeared to you that we do. The first is that every week we have our food pantry on a Wednesday, and we feed about 200 people every week. Part of that is me and my staff or some of our volunteers taking food to people who live over here on the northern side of St. Charles in areas where they don't have cars sometimes and can't get to the food. So we actually take them food. A lot of families, women with children who aren't able to get out of their house. So we continue to do that. A lot of the food we get comes from the Jewel across the street here, the Walmart, the Target, places in Villa Park that we've been dealing with, and a reminder that we've been doing this for 30 years. This is not something we just started. The second thing we did this summer, which we do every 2 years, is a mission project in Costa Rica. Now, on odd years, we stay in the U.S., but every 2 years we go to Costa Rica with whoever we can get to go. This year, 12 people went from 2 different churches, and we built 2 homes for people that didn't have homes in 1 week. And we do pretty good for people who are over 65 years old. Everybody in that entire group was over 65. In fact, only one was under 70. So that's something that we always look forward to doing. Sometime, if any of you want pictures, I'll be happy to show you pictures of the crew. It's a great, exciting experience when you see people who don't have homes to do that. The third thing we do, we're getting ready to do, and I'm going to ask the clerk if he would help me on this. Would you just hold that up for me?
For sure, sir.
Yeah. It's called Love Your Neighbor Day. And for those of you that don't know, Love Your Neighbor Day is something we've been doing for the last 12 years. But I want to tell you about that and tell you a true story. About 2 weeks ago, I live in Monee. 2 weeks ago, we had 2 different storms hit us within 5 days. The second one was the tornado. Now, I'm 75 years old, and my wife and I, when that tornado hit, got downstairs fast because I come from Kansas and I know what a tornado is. When I went back upstairs after the tornado, I looked at my yard, and for the first time in my life, I cried. Because I looked at what my wife and I had built and saw what was some of the damage that was done, not just to our house and to our yard, but to our neighbors and our friends all over Monee. And I did the only thing that a 75-year-old man knows to do besides pray. In the rain, my wife and I got out and we started picking limbs up. And we started moving limbs to the curb because we knew sooner or later all these limbs all over our yard were going to have to be picked up, and the street park people needed to be able to get to them. As we did that, after about an hour, just feeling totally useless like we weren't making any progress, all of a sudden the car comes up and stops in front of our house. And out of the car comes 2 kids. Now, I want to admit, these kids were of a different color than we were. I don't have any idea I didn't have any idea at the time who they were, but their grandmother, I found, got them out of the car and said, "Start helping that man." And so they started helping us to pick up the limbs, and she pulled over in the rain, and she helped us. She happened to be a teacher on summer break with her grandkids who were from Florida. They picked the wrong time to come from Florida to Monee, Illinois. For the next 2 hours in the rain, they picked limbs with us in the rain and never stopped. The next day, other people came over with chainsaws and helped us to cut limbs. For the last 2 weeks, people in Monee, just like in Villa Park I've been watching, helped each other. That's what's called community. For the last 12 years, our church got a head start on this. Every year, we pull together other people, other churches help, other organizations help, and we help with people who are primarily seniors, by the way, who can't fix their homes. They can't paint their garages. They can't fix the fences. They can't take care of all the stuff they have in their yard. And to do that takes a lot of effort. This year, we've already had 40 applications. That's a lot. It will take about 150 people to do that, and right now we have about 45 volunteers. Now, every year about this time, we have about 45 volunteers. By the time we get to the 3rd week of September, we expect to have 150. Now, that is partially based upon people helping us. And that's why I came tonight with applications for those who would like to volunteer, because you see, you don't have to be a carpenter, but it helps. You don't have to be a plumber, but it helps. You don't have to be an electrician, but it helps. You don't even have to be a pastor, but it helps. You have to be willing to take a rake, take a broom, take whatever you need, and pick up and help and work with people on one Saturday, once a year. It's why we call it Love Your Neighbor Day. Last year, we had 8 different churches in the area and 150 volunteers. We need at least that many this year. So I'm here to ask you and to ask the community to bind together. It can be teenagers. In fact, teenagers are some of the best workers we have. This is an excellent project for a scout group, for a church group, for a school group. And oh, by the way, I want to make this very clear. We have never, ever, ever taken anybody that we're helping them and asked them to join our church. That's not what this is about. We don't have anybody in our church that we've ever helped through this program. That's not what this is about. This is about helping your neighbors and building community. So if you're interested in helping, I've got the applications. Put that sign up there, Rolf, where everybody can see it. You'll see those signs in yards that day, because that's what we'll do. We'll indicate that by putting the sign in the yard. The village helps us every year, and we appreciate that. The bakery over here, a Cuppy's Bakery, brings us donuts every year. Other people help us, and we appreciate that as well. I know most of you will be downtown Chicago on that day because you've got your Illinois, what do you call that?
Municipal League.
Municipal League, which I attended when I was a trustee, and that's a worthy cause. But anybody else, your wives, your children, your friends, your neighbors, encourage them to come help us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Is there any other public comments on non-agenda items, Clerk?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Deb?
D.
Oh, I apologize. D, I'm sorry, D. Time to clean the glasses.
I was kind of surprised when I meet somebody who doesn't know me, but I'm glad. Hi, my name's Dee Longfellow, and I have lived at 140 West St. Charles Road in Villa Park since 2011. And before that, I'm retired now, but I was in the newspaper business, and my company started the Villa Park Independent back in 2003. And it's morphed a few times since then, but I've had my finger on the pulse of the news of this village for quite a while. And I came tonight primarily to address the gentleman that spoke at the last meeting about the Off the Beaten Path event. We just had Villa Fest on Saturday, and it was a huge success by most of the things we've been hearing. And we had full village support for that. We had the fire department, the police department, Public Works, they do all the electricity, Parks and Rec, oh my goodness, they did like everything. Lily Morgan, I had to say her name because she's very good. And we got a budget from the city, from the village, to spend on things like bands and kiddie rides. And we had food trucks, and we had salsa dancers, hula dancers, we had a dunk tank, and some of our village leaders were in there getting splashed. And my point, I guess, is that maybe these gentlemen should consider joining an event that's already on the books in the village, and maybe they're not getting as much response because we're busy doing the events that are already on the books. We're always needing committee members, we always need volunteers, and I think that might be a better job rather than sort of making up your own event and trying to ram it through the village and taking offense when the village doesn't jump at every move. Now, did we have problems on our committee? As a matter of fact, yes, we did. At one point, we felt like the village had sort of overstepped its bounds, done a few things that we weren't ready for, and we spoke up about it. And our village manager, Mike Rivas, came to our meeting, sort of hat in hand, and said, what can we do to make this right? And I don't have to go into all the details, but we got it done. We got everything worked out, worked together, and he even apologized if the village overstepped its bounds. I have to say that because I've been in this business a long time, and it's pretty rare to have a public official apologize about anything. So, thank you for that. But I'm also bringing it up because there are rumors rattling around out there that people think Mr. Rivas should be removed from his position. And let me tell you something, that's not just a terrible idea. That could be a fatal idea for this village, and I'll tell you why. We've already removed 2 village managers within the last 4 years. If we remove another one, guess what? We are the poison village. Nobody is going to come and look for that job. We're not going to get anybody of any kind of quality, anybody qualified, anybody with any kind of integrity is going to uproot their family, move here, buy a house, register the kids in school, and whoops, 2 years later, see ya. Nobody's going to do that. We're going to be poisoned. We're going to be digging the bottom of the barrel of village managers down there. So I think we should let Mr. Rivas lead. He does a good job. Let's support him and let him do that. He's doing a good job, and the proof was Saturday, because that day went smooth all day long. The biggest problem we had was that we had to separate the wristbands. We had to tear them apart, and that was kind of a pain. That was the biggest problem we had. So, folks, Mr. Rivas is running the village, and he's running it well, while everybody else is out on Facebook starting rumors. So, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else, Clerk?
Cheryl.
Cheryl Tucker. I won't apologize for asking the board to be accountable for their actions and respect their fellow board members and residents, as a village president expects the residents to do that within the 3-minute comments they make. I do wonder if the taxpayers wasted money and the board's time setting up a 5-year plan when the board grilled our fire chief, Stapleton, on the plans for a new fire station and how it was going to fit in the budget, and how are we going to pay for it. That was not his problem. That's the board's. Is there a 5-year plan set up for the swimming pool, the cost of maintaining the rec center, which is already busting at the seams, in less than 2 years, which might not be a bad thing after all? At times, I feel our board is acting like the federal government, telling the staff to cut their budgets, but creating more expenses themselves with wish lists or ordinances and resolutions since President Patrick took over a year and a half ago. Make me wonder, are they trying to reinvent the wheel instead of fixing the existing village problems, the biggest one being no funding and a budget deficit? Being that our village is a manager-oriented form of government, which means the village manager runs the village, not the village board. The village board is only an advisory committee, not the other way around. Seeing the board hired the last 2 managers, which tells me that they felt the people were qualified to do the job, then why doesn't the village president and board allow him to do his job instead of micromanaging and overstepping the board's authority? I'm just asking the board to seriously look at your priorities, have the courtesy to pay attention when the residents are speaking, and to attempt to go through the monthly budget sheets. I'm guessing by the way our president groups them all together for approval that most of you don't even read them, because it would make it hard to question line items that way. Probably put the people of the Villa Park first would be also appreciated. Like more businesses, so District 45 wouldn't need a resolution or referendum to get funding for the people of Villa Park. The budget is one thing we need in Villa Park to resolve the solution for rats, flooding, tree removal, branches picked up, street and sewers fixed, new fire station, a pool, and quicker responses for permits, emails, and phone calls. If the board really knows their residents, they would stop telling them to email them and actually make time to talk to them at events, coffee with the board, or returning their phone calls in proper time frame. If I had more time, I would also love to tell the Village Fest Subcommittee how great of a job they did, but I don't. But thank you for giving me the 3 minutes anyway.
Thank you. Is there anybody else?
No, sir.
Is there anybody in the audience that would like to speak under public comments on non-agenda items? Go ahead and please approach the podium.
Hi, everybody. My name is Patrice Gallagher, and I live in Villa Park. And because Dee spoke and Cheryl spoke, I appreciated parts of your comments, and I just want to put my 2 cents in that, you know, the last village meeting was a little bit difficult, and I feel a positive energy in the room, and I trust that we can move forward together. We have some difficult issues, but that we can think about our commonalities and collaborate respectfully and get through this so that we can make Villa Park keep making Villa Park the wonderful place it is. I know that we all love living here. I've talked to many of you. So let's keep up the good work, and thank you for letting me share.
Is there anybody else in the audience that would like to speak under public comments on non-agenda items? Okay, seeing none. Before we move forward, you know, no funding in a budget deficit. Now, I can't sit here and tell you how easy it is to manage a municipality, but I don't think that is any easy undertaking. And when you do look at the issues that some of the village has had as well, I think you also need to pay attention to some of our successes. We got the Union going up downtown Villa Avenue. Car 321 is going to be here next spring. More information about that coming up. We've got a rec center that has a daycare that has more kids than it's ever had, programs, all sorts of things, all sorts of new businesses coming to town, and more businesses interested in Villa Park as well. So while we have had our challenges, I will also say I have to not take any of the credit except for the gentleman to my left here for managing that through the ups and downs. Do we have we don't have any proclamations, we don't have any presentations, so I will move forward appointments to commissions. So item 8A, appointment of June Blom as chairperson of the Senior Concerns Commission. Do I have a motion for the appointment?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Alfano, is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova. Yes. Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving forward to item 8B, the appointment of Mike Storino as chairperson of the Green Commission. Do I have a motion for the appointment?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Alfano, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Trustee Kumar, is there any discussion? Trustee Kumar.
I just want to say I'm very happy. I did not get to attend the last Green Commission meeting, but I did view the whole thing, and I'm really happy with the success they're having. I do think there's probably more applications coming in for that commission. What is our total, President Patrick, on the number of people who can be on that commission?
The ordinance that this board passed not too long ago allows the commission to have up to 5.
Okay, thank you. That's it.
Okay.
And I'm very happy that Mike's taken over. He's great.
The Green Commission is one of our youngest commissions out there. It got a late start compared to the other commissions as well. Mike Storino has been on this commission since the beginning. He's been holding down the fort, and through the ups and downs, he's done a tremendous job of coming to these meetings, leading, and being a good mentor for the newer commission members as well. And they've already, and I believe we have on our agenda tonight, one of their first recommendations from the Green Commission related to fishing line recycling at all of our fishing parks. So again, Mike Storino has been doing a great job, and he's finally stepping up into the chair. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Moving along to our consent agenda, items 9A, B, and C. 9A, approval of the bill listing for the week of August 17, 2026, in the amount of $80,879.60, and the bill listing for the week of August 24, 2026, in the amount of $475,934.41. 9B, the approval of the minutes from the Village Board of Trustees meeting held on July 27, 2026. And item 9C, resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing Halloween trick-or-treat hours for 2026. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Kozar, thank you. Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay. Manager Reeves, do we have any staff reports?
Oh, we do not.
Okay, we're going to go ahead and move forward to our monthly reports, items 11A through G, the finance report for July 2026, the FOIA reports for July 2026, gaming reports for July 2026, Parks and Recreation monthly report, July 2026, police reports, July 2026, capital project update, Parks and Public Works, June partial, July 2026, and our monthly report, CED, July 2026. Is there any discussion on any of those? Trustee Cordova.
Yeah, so for the capital project update, I have a question that I wrote down here somewhere. So with the Washington sewer separation not receiving the IEPA funding and the Westmore, Wisconsin funding still unsecured, what changes do we now anticipate with the 5-year capital plan? And then the second piece of that is, are there any other projects that will need to be delayed, broken into phases, or funded from another source?
Manager Reeves.
I'm going to defer to Assistant Village Manager, Mike Ware.
Thank you, Your Honor. To speak to your questions, Trustee Cordova, the Washington sewer separation, yes, we were looking at alternates. That's pretty large for a project, around 15 million. So that one is going to take probably some time. We're still planning on trying to submit that through the IEPA. The Wisconsin Westmore project, I actually been in talks with Finance Director Micah since we were planning debt service with that, with IEPA. I think during this budget cycle, we're looking at maybe proposing to the board issuing special revenue bonds to issue that debt to cover that cost, because we're doing debt in one way, might as well do it in a different way maybe. There'll be probably a slight increase to the interest rate compared to the low interest loans, but at the rate of the amount of projects that are being requested through the IEPA, both on the water and wastewater side, it's phenomenally high. It's very hard to get funding through there. So we're looking at that one, so that project can still proceed next year to get completed, pending board's approval to issue that debt service. And then another one that we just found out meeting last week is on the water side. We have Bierman and Myrtle, which is a water main replacement project that we're kind of planning in the future, probably towards the beginning of '28. The water fund is very competitive, and scoring numbers have skyrocketed on that. So the likelihood of EPA loan funding on that one's pretty low. So it's going to be some modifications as we go into it to look at the 5-year financial plan, identify what our reserves are in different aspects, because we do have Fund 64, which is dedicated for some of that, and come up with some hopefully creative ways to finance some of these projects for the village. But I guess the key takeaway is we're going to be presenting in the budget a possibility of issuing debts with special revenue funds, using wastewater funds, and just bonding that money instead of a low-interest loan from the EPA for the Wisconsin and Westmore project for next year. Does that answer it?
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
I'll have more questions, but yes.
Any other questions? Okay, moving along. Item 12A, ordinance for first reading, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park amending Section 14-115 of the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding electric mobility devices. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance replaces the existing low-speed electric scooters provisions in the vehicle code with a comprehensive electric mobility devices section covering electric scooters, low-speed electric bicycles, low-speed gas bicycles, and motor-driven cycles. This is a first reading.
Is there any discussion? Okay, seeing none, moving forward to 12B, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending Chapter 3, alcoholic liquor of the Village Code to revise provisions related to the local Liquor Control Commission, alcoholic liquor licensing and regulation. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. The local Liquor Commission, Control Commission, recommends amending Chapter 3 of the Village Code to revise the appointment, training, and leadership structure of the commission, strengthen background investigation and fingerprinting requirements, establish new eligibility restrictions and penalties for false statements, restructure license fee provisions, and require a new license application upon a change in use of a licensed premises. This is a first reading.
Is there any discussion? Trustee Costados.
You raised your hand. Oh, thank you. I just have one question. Section 3-305 in A, where it says, we talk about the fingerprinting and whatnot. I just wanted to know if there was a way we could put in that paragraph that the expenses are incurred by the business and/or person requesting the license, however you want to phrase that, but it's not stated, so I think maybe we should insert that just to make it clear.
Attorney Morton.
That certainly can be added if that's what the majority of the board would like to do.
Manager Rivas, what is the cost of fingerprinting these days?
500.
I'm sorry?
500.
500? Okay. Manager
Additional comment. If I could,
I believe the cost of the actual background is $500. I believe the submission of prints is, the state charges us $35.
Okay, so
Yes,
around $35.
correct,
The entire investigation is about 500?
correct.
Okay. Trustee Constados?
So then, does the person that is putting in the application absorb all of that cost
Manager Rivas, I don't know.
currently as the ordinance sits, or do we need to implicate that?
Yep. Attorney Morton.
So it's not just fingerprinting, it is investigation. So the $500 that Ms. Settles mentioned is, I think, what you're talking about, because that would be the entire part. I would, though, also call attention to the fact that there's been a structural change as well in here to the initial application fee, as well as then the annual fee to try to capture, I think, on a consistent basis, those expenses of the village. So I'm not trying to speak for the Liquor Control Commission. I don't know what their consideration on this was, but they might argue that that was already contemplated within the fee.
Right, well, can we make that clear then, so we're not overlapping? Because I don't want to add something in that's going to overlap that if that's what they were trying to accomplish, but can we have some clarity on that, please?
I can reach out to the commission and ask if they had more thoughts on that.
Okay, excellent, thank you. That's actually all I have. But I think trustee Cordova had something.
Okay. Trustee Cordova.
Yeah, so I have a few questions. I'll probably send an email, but the biggest piece for me, there's two of them. There's a change in use a provision in here that specifically, like, where, after looking through it, I didn't see what a change in use is defined as, number one, and then what specifically triggers the automatic termination of an existing liquor license? And then also, I know that with some of the liquor licenses, we have LLCs and corporations, and I'm wondering who exactly would be the subject to the fingerprinting and background check when those licenses are an LLC or a corporation.
Attorney Morton?
On that last issue, it would be it depends on the structure, but it would be whoever the managing person is up the chain. So a manager of an LLC, president of a corporation, as well as the actual on-site managers of the business, which often are not the same as the ones who are managing the company, they would also be subject to those requirements. As for your questions about the use of licensed premises, that can be revisited to come up with a more defined definition of what you would think what you think that would be. This is what came out of the Liquor Control Commission, but the board is certainly able to make further changes or deletions that you think appropriate.
Okay, yeah, because there's, I don't know what determines a change in use or when a change in use occurs, and if the business gets that determination in writing before its license is terminated, or it could just be whenever. There's a lot of gaps in here, so I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questions that I'll be sending along to the board and to you and the commission. I don't even know, I'll just send it to the board and you guys can get it to where it needs to be.
Attorney Morton?
If this is something that the board would like the Liquor Control Commission to revisit, even just this portion of the ordinance, you can always, the board can recommend that back to the Liquor Control Commission too, if you want them to consider those questions versus the board considering them. It's up to your discretion.
Oh, perfect, okay. So, yeah, I would highly recommend we send this back with questions and get some clarity before it even comes back as a second reading.
Do we have to motion it?
Is that a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion for that.
I'll second.
Okay, so a motion to send this back to Liquor Control. And who seconded?
Oh, that was me.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any discussion? Attorney Morton?
We've heard from 2 trustees about things they would like the commission to revisit. If there's anything else that anyone on the board would like to revisit, I would suggest that we discuss that now to give direction then to the commission.
Trustee Cordova?
So the first one was a change in use, how that's defined. Second one would be if they add gaming, entertainment, a patio, expanding the premises, updates, remodel, or any kind of changing of the restaurant concept, if that would constitute a change in use. That's my second question. I'm just going to rattle off the questions. I already asked about who determines whether a change in use occurred. Why does one section require an omission to involve a material fact, while the penalty section allows suspension or revocation for simply providing incomplete information? I wonder if those two should be consistent. I asked about the fingerprinting. What's the basis for the $1,000 initial application fee, which I believe Trustee Constados kind of asked about as well. And then if we're removing the village president from the Liquor Commission, why does the president still select both the chair and vice chair instead of the commission selecting its own leadership? And then the last piece here in section 11 it refers to the applicant. And I was wondering who the applicant in a village-wide code, who is the applicant in a village-wide code amendment, and is that an error, is that language an error, or it just needs to be corrected? So I can send those in an email.
Sure, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay, so I have a motion by Trustee Cordova, send this back to the Liquor Control Commission, seconded by Trustee Constados. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay. Moving forward, item 12C, it is an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, amending section 2-330 of the Villa Park Municipal Code regarding board acting as a body. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This ordinance would create additional rules for how trustees interact with village staff. It was proposed by trustee Constados. This is a first reading.
Okay. Is there any discussion? Trustee Cordova.
I also have a lot of questions on this that I could send. Do you want me to rattle them off now, or should I just send them an email?
Go ahead.
All right, so, first one, I'm looking for what specific problem are we trying to solve that isn't already addressed by the existing prohibition against individual trustees directing and interfering with staff? If you guys want to answer those, you can, or do you guys want the email?
How about you rattle them off, like
Yep.
you said?
Why does this apply only to trustees? If the concern is staff protection, chain of command, and transparency and FOIA compliance, why aren't commissioners and commission chairs who regularly interact with staff subject to the same requirements? What exactly constitutes a meeting? Does this include an impromptu conversation at Village Hall, a site visit, a concert, after a board meeting, or a conversation at a village event? What happens when a department director or employee initiates the meeting rather than a trustee? Why does the village manager or assistant village manager have to attend every meeting between a trustee and a department director? Why isn't notifying or copying the manager sufficient? Why is a trustee responsible for creating the meeting notes rather than staff, particularly if these are intended to become village record? If another participant disagrees with the trustee's note, what's the process for correcting the record? How does it interact with our existing rules of order, which specifically allow a trustee to send a constituent service request directly to a department head as long as the village manager is copied? Does this ordinance intentionally prevent a trustee from independently gathering information from a department director without the village manager or assistant manager supervising conversation? And why are phone calls and text messages prohibited even for scheduling? What specific FOIA or transparency problem does that solve? I'll send those as well.
Any other discussion on that? I think it would be a good idea to bring this topic to a COW, if that's all right, so we could discuss that further. So maybe instead of, maybe we could table this item until after a COW discussion.
I'll agree with that.
Is it okay if I send the questions first?
Yes, please. So, just a motion. Okay, so I would entertain a motion to table this until after we have a COW on this.
I'll make that motion.
Okay, trustee Constados, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Alfano, is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, so, moving along, 13, we do not have any ordinances for a second reading, so 14A, ordinance, an ordinance of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, authorizing and approving annexation agreement, annexing certain territory commonly known as 1208 West High Ridge Road to the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, and assigning the property the RS 7.5 Single Family Residential District zoning classification. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, sir. Some background on this. The petitioner is the Islamic Foundation. They're seeking a voluntary annexation agreement with the Village of Villa Park. The subject parcel is an R4 single-family residence in DuPage County. The subject property, commonly known as 1208 West High Ridge Road, is currently owned by the Islamic Foundation and is presently used as overflow parking for existing facilities. The petitioner acknowledges that the long-term intent includes paving and improving the existing parking area in accordance with village standards.
Okay, do I have a motion for the ordinance?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Alfano, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Trustee Kumar, is there any discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, excellent. So moving along to 15A, resolution. Resolution of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois, approving a contract with Strata Construction Company of Addison, Illinois for construction of the 2026 sidewalk program in the amount of $133,820. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution authorizes the village president to execute a contract for the construction of the 2026 sidewalk program. The project was publicly advertised and competitively bid with a bid opening held on August 18, 2026. The village received 9 bids, with the lowest responsible bid submitted by Strata Construction Company of Addison, Illinois, in the amount of $133,820.
All right, sidewalks. Do I have a motion for the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
I'll second.
Trustee Alfano, is there any discussion? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Excellent. All right, moving forward to item 15B, resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Villa Park and York Township for GSB 88 seal coat pavement preservation. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution authorizes the village manager to execute an intergovernmental agreement with York Township through its Highway Department for GSB 88 seal coat pavement preservation on portions of South Cornell Avenue, South Euclid Avenue, South Summit Avenue, and East Reardon Road. The village's estimated share of the project is $14,252. Funds are budgeted for pavement rejuvenation in the CY 2026 budget.
Okay, do I have a motion for the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Kozar, thank you. Any discussion?
I have a
Trustee-
question.
Trustee Kumar?
I just want to say I'm very glad that that's being fixed in conjunction with York Township. That's it.
Trustee Alfano?
Yes, my question is this something that's done annually, or is this something that's biannually?
I'm going to redirect this to Public Works Director, Rich Salerno.
Thank you, Manager Rivas. This typically happens after the first year or two after a road's been paved, and it adds life back to the pavement. The oils in the liquid asphalt that is typically worn out that first year, it's re-energized with this material. Typically then after that, it's like possibly like about 5 years after that, 5 to 7 years. So it's not annually but it's about after the first year, 5 to 7 years after that.
Thank you.
Okay. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
All right, moving along to item 15C, a resolution of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Villa Park authorizing the limited disclosure of certain executive session verbatim recordings related to employment investigation. Do I have a motion for the resolution?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Kozar, thank you. Is there any discussion? Trustee Kumar.
Define disclosure, because there are some legalities. Is it that the investigator is going to come in and view these recordings, or is it that we're giving a copy? And there is a legality involved in that. They are two different things.
Attorney Martin.
Thank you. Trustee, the resolution is written so that it both consents to the disclosure to allow the law firm, Lane & Muchin, to listen to it, but it also, there's a clause in here that allows them to retain a copy of it as well.
I would be in favor of the first, but not the second, because of the legality of the issue.
May I clarify, trustee? By approving this resolution, it is legal. So,
Well, I don't want to change the law. So the law says that you can view it in the presence of the clerk, but it does not say that you can get a copy. And so I looked into the legality of it, so I'm just saying I'm not in favor of handing out copies.
and that's fine, I just wanted to clarify, though, that the statute also says that that's true unless the board votes that it can be removed from Village Hall. So that's what this ordinance would do, a resolution. If you don't support that, that's fine. I just
Yeah,
want to make sure
I simply
everyone
do not
understands that it
support-
would be legal to do so by approving this. The
Right.
statute allows you to do it.
Yeah, so I do not approve that part. I would be making a motion to change it. I'm absolutely okay with coming in and viewing the recording. I am absolutely against removing anything. We should have the same process for the trustees, the president, and even a legal firm. That's my opinion.
Trustee Kumar, is there a reason why you don't want the investigators to have a copy of that executive session audio?
No, just privacy, private, things are getting out that shouldn't be getting out, and I just feel like I'm fine with everybody going and viewing it. If they view it, they can take notes, they can do what all of us do. That's just my belief. Okay.
Trustee Constados?
Yes, thank you. My question then would be, what if the clerk doesn't allow the investigator to come and listen? Because I believe it's already been said no. So if we're not going to give them then a printed copy, then how is the investigator supposed to listen to the records if the clerk is not allowing them to? So that causes an issue.
If the clerk isn't going to give a printed copy, he's not going to give them permission to view, or either is going to be a problem, so.
I'm going to ask that we adhere to Robert's Rule of Order.
Okay, I'm sorry.
And Trustee Constados, you have the floor right now.
Yeah, so my concern is the fact that the president, another trustee, and this investigator has asked for the information and already been told no. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the information needs to be given to them, whether it's coming in and listening, coming in and reading it, or giving them a copy of their own to read. I mean, we all agreed to an investigation, and now information is being withheld. And our residents are also waiting to hear results of said investigation. And we're trying not to be biased, so the information should be handed over and given to them. So I guess that's my question.
Attorney Morton.
If I also may add, in addition to what I said previously, this is a law firm, Leonard Mnuchin, that is doing the investigation. Therefore, there is the attorney-client privilege that you have with them as you do with the village attorney, and they have requirements of confidentiality that they cannot violate.
Correct. So then if something were to happen where it got out and it was on their dime, well, then there's steps we can take as a village because of that, correct, counsel?
Yes.
So we're still protected, correct?
In my opinion, yes.
Thank you.
As for somebody that has requested the audio of this executive session since the 29th, and I still haven't had the opportunity to listen to this, I'm really curious to know what is being said on that audio. I still don't have any answers. And this seems more or less like a delay tactic as well, to delay our investigation and to further prohibit anybody from knowing what was actually said on that audio. I don't understand the hesitation here. And then I know that you said you were going to talk under new business about this whole list of demands regarding amending the investigation and things, but again, this is stuff that we've been talking about. This is what the board has approved, and we need an investigation happening. We need to get to the bottom of this. They should be able to listen to that audio. We all deserve that. Our residents deserve to have answers to what was said in that executive session. So. Trustee Kumar.
The residents, at this point, it's an executive session, and hence it's confidential. So that statement is false to begin with in the first place, so don't say things that aren't true. I'm not saying they don't have the right to listen to the audio. They have 100% the right to listen to the audio. I'm just saying, it's a similar process to any of the trustees to listen to the audio, and to just suppose that they won't be allowed to listen to the audio based on speculation and based on the fact that some of us haven't been able to listen to the audio is a mistake. And I'm just saying the law is what the law is. Let's just keep it as is and move on. That's my if we give them the right to listen, they have the right to listen. Nobody should be removing records from executive session. That's been the law, and I want to keep it that way.
I also share similar concerns that Trustee Constados brought up regarding the demands, or I shouldn't even say the demands, the requests, all of the requests to listen to this audio. This board held a special meeting. Trustee Sabri called a special meeting on 6/26 at 8:10 a.m. Trustee Kumar at 11:40 a.m., you seconded it. 11:53 a.m., Cordova seconded it. 1:42, Trustee Alfano also seconded the call for a special meeting. On 6/29 at 7 p.m., the special meeting was held. At that meeting, Deputy Village President Alfano made a motion to go into executive session and add personnel. 5 ALCS 5/whatever it might be. That meeting went into the late hours of the night. On 6/29 at 11:38 p.m. that same night, while I believe executive session was still happening, I sent an email to the clerk requesting to hear those executive session audios ASAP, right away. Didn't hear anything. 7/1, 6:25 p.m. I sent another email to the clerk for my second request. Didn't hear anything. July 2nd, 10:49 a.m. I sent another email to the clerk. Third request. Guess what? Didn't hear anything. However, on 7/2, there was an adjudication hearing right here in Village Hall. I think it was a hearing for alcohol consumption. Previous trustee Christine Murphy, Village Clerk Laukant, Village Trustee Sabri, all testified as a witness during that hearing. What is that? 29? My math is bad. 30, 1, 2, 3. That's 3.5, 4 days. Still didn't hear anything about being able to listen to this executive session audio. I mean, that's pretty important, especially with what was coming out of there, all the rumors and everything else. Okay. So on 7/6, our village board meeting, the board votes for an investigation. Okay. Also remember that Deputy President Kerry Alfano, Trustee Cordova, Trustee Kumar, and Trustee Sabri all voted no to allow us to go into executive session the first go-round. But it wasn't until some of that stuff started coming out that they thought it would be a good idea that we should probably go into executive session. And we did. But we did vote on an investigation to ensue on some of those things that were happening there. So, village board meeting on 7/13, the village board created and passed a resolution asking the clerk to provide those executive session audios to me. Guess what? Haven't seen them. 7:15 at 2:40 p.m. I again sent another fourth request to the village clerk, also supplying him with the actual signed resolution from the board. Didn't hear anything. 10 days later, 7:25 at 10:33 a.m., I sent another email to the clerk. This is my fifth request. Nothing. Nothing. 3 days later, after that, on 7/28 at 9:45 a.m., Our attorney Morton sent an email to the clerk requesting executive session audio for the investigation because they had been requesting it. They think that it's critical, it's part of their investigation, so they're requesting it. But didn't hear anything. On 8/8, I get an email from the clerk that simply said, on April 13th, 2025, I told you I would be at my son's wedding in July of 2026. I did go through my emails. I did not see anything from a year previous at 4/13/25 about any recollection of that. But again, that was the only thing it stated. Nothing about the executive session minutes or me having the opportunity to listen to them or what was going on in those. Okay. 8/17, 3:55 p.m. The investigator that this board approved and hired sent a clerk an email, a request for the executive session audio for the investigation. 8/17 at 6:04 p.m., 2.5, 3 hours later, the clerk sent a reply to the investigator, simply stating, no. So, 8/21, 10:44 a.m., clerk demands put an agenda item under his clerk's report tonight. Okay, great, we did that. 8/21/26 at 11:05 a.m., Trustee Kozar, who also was not present on the June 29th executive session, also has equal access to those audio recordings as I do. He asks the clerk for executive session audio and requests it. At 11:06, 1 minute later, the clerk to Kozar, get a court order. 11:17, our attorney to the clerk, and copied Trustee Kozar on that as well, basically explained that no court order is necessary and provided the statute in which would allow it to be so. A couple hours later, 8/21, 2:08 p.m., the clerk sent another email to Trustee Kozar. Do not throw me under the bus and expect to gargle your balls. I don't even know where to go with that one. 8/21, 4:48 p.m., the clerk to Kozar again. Do not ever show your face in Villa Park ever again. I don't know about you, that kind of sounds like a threat to me. So here we are, 8:24, 8:02 p.m., Village Board meeting. The resolution asked the clerk to give the executive session audio to the investigators. Trustee Constados.
Thank you. There's been a lot of emails and talk about being professional. And we hired a professional law firm to do this. But yet, we're sitting here and saying that we don't trust them to have a piece of paper that they could still legally be held responsible for if it was passed around. Where's the professionalism? I don't understand. I mean, are we using words like bias, tainted, professionalism, transparency, and we're making up the definition and rules as to when to use it as we go along because it benefits us at that time and other times not? I mean, I'm so confused as to why we agree to something, yet lately we will backpedal now because there's some, man, I gotta think of how to say this without, I'm just gonna say it, without some people being butthurt. I don't know how else to phrase it. I mean, it's getting to be ridiculous. We voted for this, we said we wanted it, now all of a sudden everybody's backpedaling. So I don't know what to say. I mean, they're a professional law firm. It's not any different than our attorney having information in their firm that they are responsible for keeping confidential. There's no difference. But, whatever. I mean, that's all I have to say.
We have a current investigation going on about the July 29th meeting and the things that were said between two employees. Now, there's some people up here have also accused me of leaking executive session information. And I just find that hilarious. How can I leak executive session information if I wasn't even in that meeting? I can't even hear what that recording is. I also want to know what's on that recording and why there's such a strong stance in not letting us know what was in there as well. I think this board needs to let these investigators have everything they need to do their job and to give us the answers we all deserve. Stop hiding behind these, we're going to amend the investigation, we're going to accuse the president of leaking executive session when he wasn't there. This is ridiculous. Our residents deserve answers. Move forward. Just let them have this information. Stop delaying this. Because what is it that you are all trying to hide? Trustee Kumar.
I just said I don't want them to get a copy. Actually, President Patrick, you could have reached out to any one of us. I made an effort to meet with you, and you said you'll talk later, and never met to ask what happened in the 29th meeting. But apparently, there's a total lack of trust. There's no reason to reach out to any one of us to ask or talk to us, because I never talked to you about the 29th meeting. You never reached out to me as a trustee to talk to me about this meeting in any way or form. I'm simply saying I want to abide by the rules of the state. I just want I'm absolutely okay with the investigator coming in, listening to the audio. I have no problems with that. I simply do not want copies released. We've had copies of things that shouldn't be released, being released by our president. So how do you expect me to have that trust when you did not have that trust? Trust is a two-way street. Trust is a two-way street. So you didn't have the trust to reach out to me, speak to me about this issue, or even about that meeting. So if you don't know what's going on, okay, and you're just assuming things, there's nothing I can do as a trustee. I have to follow the law. I believe this is the law, and I'll continue to follow it. I'm absolutely okay with the investigator coming in and listening. If you're afraid about the clerk, deal with the clerk. That has nothing to do with me. I need to follow the law, in my opinion. That's it.
I couldn't agree with you more, Trustee Kumar. Trust has been broken.
May I speak?
I am speaking. I will call you in a minute. Trust has been broken. And also, just to remind you that on 7/6, you also denied me the opportunity to speak about a lot of this in executive session. So, I mean, we talk about trust, sure. Also, I want to clarify something. You say that I released these documents. Well, no, I presented these documents. These documents were already produced by the state's attorney's office and the FBI. I did not produce that report, they did. So you can't tell me that this is something that I did intentionally. And also, too, I mean, the manner in which those documents were created, in which they were received, legally makes them a public document. And if you'd like to speak with the attorney, that's something that I actually encourage you to do more of. And maybe we wouldn't have a lot of these issues as well. But yes, trust has been broken. We need to move past this. We need to let the investigators have access to this audio. We need to have it now. Trustee Constados.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to agree. There's been a lot of trust broken on this board. However, we're not talking about that in this document. We are talking about the company we are hiring. So whether I trust you, you trust me, or who trusts who's sitting up here has nothing to do with the company. Again, the law firm we are hiring to do this investigation. So let's put aside how we all feel about each other right now and get back to the topic at hand, which is the law firm we have hired to do this job. We are talking about that. There should be no reason to not trust them. They have nothing to gain from this other than the check we're going to write them to do the job. That's all I have.
We have a motion and a second. Clerk Locknet, roll call, please. Oh, I thought we did. Yeah, motion. Sorry.
Trustee Alfano.
No.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
I want to just clarify what we're voting for. This is the amendment not to allow...
No. This is the normal
Okay.
resolutions.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
No.
Trustee Sabri.
No.
That resolution passes. Well, of course, I vote yes, so I'll be on record for voting yes. So that resolution passes. Thank you. 15D, moving along, a resolution amending rules of order and procedures for the Board of Trustees of the Village of Villa Park, DuPage County, Illinois. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This resolution would adopt amending rules and procedures for the village board as it relates to putting items on an agenda under new business. This was proposed by Trustee Kumar.
Do I have a motion for the resolution?
I will make that motion.
Trustee Kumar, do I have a second?
I will second.
Trustee Alfano, discussion? Trustee Constados.
Thank you. So the only thing we're removing is the one part that is currently lined out, correct? Where it says, "And there is an affirmative vote of the Board of Trustees."
Yeah. I think this makes sense.
Or was anything added?
No, it's just striking that line. It makes sense that all it's doing is it's allowing the trustees just to have two trustees to be able to support any item to be placed on an agenda without the board having to vote on that being placed on the agenda. What we've been doing more recently, too, is that whenever a trustee has something that they want added to the agenda, we ask that it's seconded by another trustee, and that way it gets put on the agenda. What this resolution essentially does is eliminates the fact that the board has to vote that that has to be put onto the agenda. So, is there any other discussion? Okay, Trustee Kozar?
I have a question about the last vote that we just took. Can I ask some questions on that? I mean, we're off the agenda item.
Let's vote off this, and we'll put it right next to unfinished business.
Okay.
Okay? So I have a motion and I have a motion and a second by Trustee Kumar and Trustee Alfano. Is there any more discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please. Okay. And we'll go here right next.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay, moving forward to unfinished business, Trustee Kozar.
I'll hold my comments until my trustee report.
Okay. So under unfinished business, we have 16A, discussion of documents from August 10th meeting. Opening the floor. Okay. No comments? No comments. Okay. Moving along. To item 16B, our Baker Tilly update. Manager Rivas.
I do not have the update.
Trustee,
To my knowledge, I believe trustee Alfano was made the person to receive the updates, so I guess the question would be directed to her as to what update do we have?
So we do, oh, do I have the floor?
Trustee Alfano, you have the floor.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we did have a meeting. Our attorney did facilitate that meeting to get us connected. And trustee Kumar was also present in that meeting. There was an email that went out to everybody. We did not really have any back and forth that set very nicely the 4 parameters or the 4 things that we are looking to receive. They have put together some charts. Most of you here have access to that information and have been asked to get access if you wanted to, and to reach out to me if you wanted that access to their portal or to connect with Baker Tilly. And they have created some charts and some graphs. I'm not sure that they have met the ask yet of, can you make it understandable to everybody? And that's where I will defer to trustee Kumar.
Yeah, I've been talking to them about making a report, a final report, which is accessible, will be accessible by the public as well, and readable by everyone. Right now, what we have is a lot of charts, pie charts, and things that are not in a readable, comfortable form that are analyzable except for, people who do that for a living, which is fine, but I feel like there should be a report that the public gets at large when we spent $125,000 on this particular item. So I've been working with them to actually get that report. There's a lot of data, a lot of information that they have provided us, and then they're going to consolidate, and there will be a report finally, which is actually, I've asked for a publicizable report. So something that all of us in town would be able to access. Talking about transparency again and again, that is actually the transparency we're looking for. So that report will be available to everyone once they get done with it. They're still working on a few things. I had a few more asked to send them. I have been keeping the board updated at large. I've made a practice recently of updating the board with any meetings I have with trustees, any meetings I have with any of the members, and I'm making that a practice, my own personal practice, so that there's full transparency on the board. So that's what I've been doing as a practice. I'm also expecting such practices from other members of the board, which I have to say has not happened, which is making it very, very difficult for us to address some of our things, because information has to be a two-way street. So I am expecting that from others. So on the board. So I do not know who they've met with over the week. I've made a practice of any staff I've met with, clarifying what it is and sending it out to the board. So the board has that information. I'm an open book. So I've been doing that. So even the Baker Tilly update, I sent an update of what we discussed, all of what we said. I've been trying to do that on a weekly basis, and I know there's a lot of information coming out, and I sent every message, always including the board, on every message I sent out. So everybody has everything there on the update. As I said, we need a readable document from them, a final deliverable, and they are working on it. And I just communicated with them 2-3 days ago, asking them for when that would be done. I have yet to get a clear perspective on that. Thank you.
Trustee Kumar, can you just clarify what you meant a little earlier about when you were mentioning about the board members not, or there was confusion?
Well, I said I've made a practice, and I expect that practice. It's not anything that you legally have to do, of full transparency. The word transparency keeps coming up, but there was a discussion, we had a lot of discussions about why some board members know things, others don't. So I've made it a personal practice. This has nothing to do with anything they have to do. Personal practice of informing the board at large on any meetings I have with staff, any meetings I have with the manager, anything we discuss, anyone I discuss. So I send it out. I have yet to see that coming. Maybe nobody else has met with staff this week or discussed anything with them. I have yet to see that happening. So the transparency aspect that people keep discussing here, this is a practice I've made. I think it'll help our board. I think our board needs to heal, do better things together. It's something I feel at large, and so I've made that practice. And Baker Tilly is one thing that I discussed with the board so far, and there's, many other things I've discussed with the board so far. Some, of course, stay in executive session. As you know, I already discussed what my feelings are on executive session. What's in executive session? So stay in executive session, kind of like Las Vegas, just where it should be. So that's how I feel. Thank you.
Trustee Kumar, you said we spent $125,000 on this audit.
We're going to. We haven't yet.
In that you were asking more asks of Baker Tilly. Is that incurring additional expenses to this audit, the request that you're asking
No.
for? And can you clarify again what exactly you're asking for in addition?
Yes. There is no additional expenses from this. They promised that report within our budget, and I asked for something that they promised within that budget.
So as a whole, because I still don't understand where you stand at with this, are you still in favor of this audit? Are you in favor of or pleased with the results, or are you asking for better results because you're not pleased with them?
I'm saying that we need a final deliverable from the audit company, and that's generally common practice. It is not about being pleased or not. Once I get the final deliverable, I can decide whether I'm pleased or not. At this point, we need a final readable deliverable. And I think everybody on the board would want this anyway, that we can all read and understand what the audit company is saying. That's it.
Yeah, I guess I just don't understand, because of the fact that when we brought this up, that was part of the original discussion, was that they would have a deliverable for us. So you're saying you just it hasn't met your expectations of what they've given you yet?
Absolutely. And that's why I'm in conversation, and they've promised it within their budget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trustee Alfano?
Thank you. I would like to, because our attorney was also in on this meeting with Baker Tilly, I just want to make sure that we are, that we clarify through our attorney that they did say that it was a deliverable. They thought that they had already kind of presented that, but were understanding at the end of that cow that it kind of wasn't exactly what we were looking for, because some of us couldn't understand it. And that they would present something to us that was going to be a little bit more readable and digestible from folks that are not in the business. If you could speak on that.
Yes, trustee, that was my understanding of our conversation, is that they thought they had delivered what was needed, but in talking to both you and trustee Kumar, I think the representative from Baker Tilly, representatives, had a better understanding of what it is the board was looking for, and said that they would get that to us. I don't have the same access that you do to the data files that they send out, so I can't speak to whether they have done that or to what degree they've done that, but I will also confirm what trustee Kumar said, which is because we were getting close to that 125,000 cap, they guaranteed that they would not go over that cap while still providing all of the things that were being requested.
I do agree, and I've said this from the very beginning, that municipal budgets are an animal of its own. Even for board members to understand or comprehend what a municipal budget looks like, it's difficult. It's not like your everyday business budget or whatnot. So I do appreciate the fact that trustee Alfano and trustee Kumar are trying to get that simplified for us as well as our community out there, because again, a municipal budget isn't always something that's really easy to understand. Trustee Constados.
Thank you. Can I just clarify, you said you sent an email out to everybody with an update of what your meeting with Baker Tilly consisted of. Can you clarify what day that was? Because I'm not seeing anything.
I sent it to the board.
Sure.
Yeah, wait, let me,
Just so I can try to locate it, if you don't mind. I mean, I have a few others, but none of it has to do with Baker Tilly. So just trying to.
Attorney Morton.
Just to put everyone in the same time
here.
frame, our meeting with the representatives from Baker Tilly was on July 29th, so that would be the start date.
I sent it on August 11th.
August 11th.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is there any other updates regarding Baker Tilly?
Unless somebody would like us to bring something back to Baker Tilly and you're looking for something additional, no? Look on the portal. Most of you have access to that. I see almost everybody on there except for maybe two, so.
Trustee Kumar?
On Tuesday, I sent them a message back, bumping them, saying that we're expecting this. I see some of the graphs. I would like to see the final deliverable and kind of explaining, that, some of their graphs are great, that's good, but kind of how to kind of process some of this and kind of get it to us. So that was an expectation I had. I have yet to actually, they said they're working on it, and that's all I got, so there's not really a great update other than that.
I do have a question for the board.
Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. What would your timeline be generally? When would you like to see this? Because maybe we do need to give the folks at Baker Tilly kind of a hard stop of like, this is when we're expecting something that we can pass out to folks, and it would be able to be easily read. What is the board thinking about that?
So my question to you is that, from what I'm understanding right here, is that they've already produced their final report. However, it hasn't been simplified or made easy for us to understand.
If I can clarify, I don't see it as a final report,
None of
which
us
is
do.
part of why I
Okay.
had brought.
Well,
I'd asked.
so then let me clarify, is that Baker Tilly believes that this was their final report, is what you said, but you don't see it as that way. So with the discrepancy there, though, with their final report and with that meeting that you had on the phone for them to explain everything to you, what were the major bullet points that you came away with that they were saying about the audit? Where were...
To be quite honest, I'm assuming you're speaking to me.
Yes.
To be quite honest, we weren't speaking about any of the details in that. We spoke more about what we were looking for as a package and what we have and what I see and what you are a part of and what Trustee Constados is on. And I think Attorney Morton is on there. I'm not sure that he's ever logged in. It doesn't show me that. And a bunch of staff is all of this information, all of the check images, everything that they've kind of have combined and they've looked at, but I'm not seeing anything that I would say is a report.
Okay.
It is all charts, it is all on like Excel spreadsheets. That's what I'm seeing. And that's where maybe I'm not in the business. Is that a final report? I'm not sure. I think it needs to be something that's a narrative that says this, these are our findings.
Okay.
I'm not seeing that.
And I understand that. But I'm just, generally speaking, with what they came back with, was there anything criminal or illegal found?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Okay. Trustee Constados.
Thank you. I apologize. I went back and I still don't see that email. So if you could just re-forward that to me, I would appreciate it. Thank you. Two, yes, I agree, when we were speaking with Baker Tilly in the beginning, and they had each of us give their ask list, we all gave our ask list, and I literally had told them that I expected kind of like a report when you're in high school and your teacher says you have to do a book report, like some sort of an outcome in verbiage. All that was in there, it seemed to be whatever our staff supplied them with, basically just got scanned and input into the system and was like, hey, look at this. Well, our own staff provided them with that information. We could have did that ourselves. So there was a couple of spots where they kind of gave a little of an overall briefing, but that was it. So in my opinion, yes, I was also expecting some sort of report in words, not necessarily with charts and whatever. Sure, they could throw a couple of those in if they feel the need to, but that actually explains, here's what we were asked to look at, here's what we looked at, here was the outcome of each topic. We looked at the checks for 5 years, here was the outcome. We looked at this, here was the outcome. Something that's more tangible like that. And that was made crystal clear to them from the beginning.
Okay, so I think this is pretty simple.
And I would.
Oh,
I'm
sorry, go ahead.
I don't mean, sorry. And I would say, as trustee Alfano asked, I would say, I don't think they should really need any more than 30 days at the most to complete this. And if they can't by now, it's been almost a year.
So I do think this is a simple ask. I think what we're having here is that our board language doesn't match financial language, and we need that translation, or we need it simplified. Obviously, Baker Tilly says that this was their final version or their final rendering. We don't believe that it is that. I think what we could simply do is ask them within 30 days to produce a simplified or translated version of the report that they supplied us. Is that fair enough? Trustee Alfano?
Thank you. One of the other things that I wanted to add is that we, those of us who did speak early on, did also say that we would like to know what it is that the village does well, what it is that we might need to change. And I don't know that that is really in that portal at all.
Okay.
And I do think that 30 days should be adequate. I would ask that our attorney be the one that reaches out to let them know that.
Okay. So my ask is, can we all agree on 30 days from today? We'll ask Attorney Morton to reach out to Baker Tilly with that ask, to translate their report or to simplify it for us, but also to Trustee Alfano, what you were saying earlier is when we originally wanted this thing, it's more or less like what happened, how do we move forward? Okay. So really quick, can I just get a consensus from this board that will give Attorney Morton the authority to reach out to Baker Tilly, asking them for 30 days to supply this report?
I had one other thing to ask. When they came when they came in, they promised trend analysis, and they talked about that, which is what I also expect from them. So I've already reached out to them. That's kind of the graphs we're talking about, because they promised that to begin with. I'm not about to let them out of their promises. So that's it. 30 days is fine with me. That seems fair. I think also talking to Michael Hart, they're working on that timeline anyway, so we should get something soon.
I don't know, is a trend analysis something that could happen within 30 days? Yes. Okay. All right, so 30 days, translate, simplify their report to the village board, including a trend analysis, and Attorney Morton will have the privilege of reaching out. Attorney Morton.
To clarify my response saying, yes, they can do it, that's because they said they could in a short time. So I am not a forensic accountant. I'm just repeating what they said.
And to clarify, a lot of that is already in there.
Yeah, it's already there.
Okay. But I think also simplified for our residents as well.
Yeah.
That they could understand that this is what we found, this is what happened, this is how we're moving forward.
If I may, I really do think that it's in the simplification, and it's in being able to allow all of us to understand it, because I have spent several hours just asking them questions about how I'm reading this. And it's a lot of investment to understand, which is why I was happy to have someone else kind of along for the ride, but it's really complicated, so we do need it simplified.
All right, if there's nothing else, we're going to move forward to new business. Item 17A, Green Commission recommendation for fishing line recycling program. Manager Rivas, you want to take that, or me?
Background on this, Twin Lakes, Lufkin, and Terrence Park are valued green spaces for public recreation and local fishing. However, improperly discarded fishing line poses an environmental and safety hazard. According to the Boat US Foundation, more than 100,000 marine mammals and other wildlife die annually in the U.S. due to entanglement or ingestion of littered fishing gear. Because monofilament is not biodegradable and can persist in the environment for over 600 years, dedicated collection points are essential to protect local wildlife and maintain clean and safe parks.
So the Green Commission, this was their first real project, the official recommendation to the village board. They spent a considerable amount of time, thank you, researching this. And it's actually pretty feasible. I think for about $300, they can do all three locations. And we even have a commissioner that's willing to do it in-house if the village can pay for the $300 supplies. I'd like to ask the board that if the board is okay with the village spending the $300 for these supplies, that we accept the motion. Trustee Constados? Or accept the recommendation, sorry.
Isn't this technically within their budget?
So,
As each commission gets a budget? for the
yes,
year?
we have not established a budget for them yet.
Oh,
And
okay.
as we're going
I see.
into budgeting season, that's one of the questions or one of the issues that we're going to
I
be
see.
addressing here. But again, $300 is under the village manager's spending authority as well. So this is something that we could just
I-
collectively say, make it happen.
I would be totally in favor for that.
Okay. Trustee Kumar?
I would like to actually establish them a budget about $750, because other than this, there's a lot of things they talked about, including the fishing line. They talked recently about magnets. They want to do a Go Green and Keep Villa Park Clean campaign, which I think is actually a great idea on their part. So giving them a little bit of a budget gives them a little bit of way to get there. So I really would like this Green Commission to kind of spearhead some of this stuff. So I'm not expecting a full budget for this year. I do realize most of the year is done, so if we could give them about a $750 amount, and part of that would be these 300.
Just to comment off of that is that budget season is coming in, and our role as elected officials is basically to find out from our residents what's important to them. And I understand this. In this time, we tell village staff what our residents are telling us is important and to prioritize those in our budget. And then it is their job to go ahead and make those work. I ask that we bring that $750 discussion to the table when we talk budgeting coming up here. I think it would probably be best right now, until we do that, to have it under the manager's spending authority. Manager Rivas?
The village will pick up the tab, sir.
Just another consensus then from the board, would everybody be in favor of directing the manager to allow the $300 for this commission? And if so, then I would entertain a motion to accept the Green Commission's recommendation.
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
And yes, I'm in favor of the $300.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Trustee Alfano, thank you. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay.
Trustee Kozar, yes.
My apologies.
I'm just helping out the clerk.
Okay. All right, moving along. Item 17B, the Garden Village recommendation for picnic tables on Villa Avenue at the Prairie Path. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. It looks like they had a recommended statement, the Garden Village Commission hereafter. The commission recommends that the Village of Villa Park hereafter allocate funding for additional 4 new picnic tables to the open grass-covered land northeast of Villa Road and the Prairie Path.
All right, so again, Garden Village, they've been meeting and talking about the picnic tables right there outside of the Prairie Path. I think for Villa Park, we absolutely need to spend time highlighting some of our features here. The Prairie Path is one of those. When we could start attracting more people and businesses to these areas with things as simple as park benches or what have you, it's a step in the right direction. I am absolutely in favor of this recommendation. Trustee Constados.
Thank you. I would like to know, since I see some of my commissioners sitting out there, if they would be able to come to the podium and talk a little bit about what they would like to do for that, if that would be allowed, as to why and where and how, like what the meaning of the benches is and what they're looking forward to kind of doing.
Well, I can't force them to, but if they're willing and they want to speak, to give a brief explanation of the recommendation.
Strut their T-shirts that they have to support it.
You want to go first? Okay. So we've been wanting picnic tables to start for a long time. And we have some images of seating. They're just wonderful outside Villa Park, not to be in favoritism, but that little section of the Prairie Path, everybody says, oh, I've always wanted something to be done with it. So we figured we will wait until next year for, to how do I say it, to start work on the bigger completion. But we thought, can we just have some picnic tables for summer? So it's the end of summertime, but it's still summer. And we would really appreciate if you vote and approve. Every time I'm on my bike, I go by, the one lone table that moves around is now just filled with people and kids. And so we look forward to just starting with the 4 tables, and then we'll work them into our concept.
Hello, Commissioner Smith. So I have been working on this initiative with Commissioner Gallagher. So, and as you said, this, when we looked at our community, the plan, this was just an area of green space that is underutilized, given its kind of really prime position right on the Prairie Path, right at Villa Avenue. There's a lot of pedestrian traffic that's going through that area. I often see people just kind of crowded, sitting on the one kind of lone picnic table that's been there forever, or people sitting on the grass. So with us being a new commission, we figured this is a way that we can, like low-hanging fruit, we can maybe start off making an impact without much of an investment. As part of the funding recommendation, we do have a plan to have sponsorship, because this will not just, would be a benefit to the businesses in that business district, in that neighborhood, especially those that, have restaurants. And it, in addition to like the 4 picnic tables, which would be the style, you guys also have that with a nice red stain. We also want to do some planters, and that's also in the plan, and that would be donated by existing planters that we already have in the village, and just like a minimum investment from our existing budget we can use to buy sustainable flowers. But it just a little bit of effort would really go a long way, for some seeding and some flowers for that area. So if anyone has any questions, we're happy to ask.
Trustee Kumar?
I'm totally for the picnic benches, no issue with that, but I would suggest also, remember, when you put those out, you also have a garbage can that goes along with them, because along with the picnic benches, you're going to have picnic trash, so like, something needs to be near there, so I would consider that also as part of that, knowing how it is. So like, I would be in favor of adding the 4 picnic benches with an accompanying trash can somewhere near there.
Thank you.
I do not know how staff feels about it, because they're gonna have to clean out the trash, so, yeah, I'm going to defer to them on that aspect.
May I address?
Oh, real quick, Trustee Kumar. Actually, your Green Commission has discussed this in length as well as adding recycle next to a garbage can.
Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
So I think if you just give it a little bit of time for those discussions to happen naturally, I think the Green Commission will make that formal recommendation as well. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, given the location, there are already trash receptacles in that area, but I do think it would, be a good idea to, evaluate where an additional trash receptacle that does have recycling could be a benefit.
Yes.
Trustee Costados.
Thank you. I would just like to add that I know this commission is also looking towards being able to add on to this project as the years come, maybe a harder surface, add on some umbrellas and whatnot. So this is the start of trying to work in that area. I think their idea of getting sponsorships from businesses in the area or from anywhere in the community and putting some sort of a plaque on the table acknowledging that sponsorship is a wonderful idea to bring the businesses in the community together as well. It also helps with the budget, and that their picnic benches are actually within the budget that they have been allotted for this year. So I want to say thank you to all of them for their very hard work on trying to put this together. It's going to be a wonderful project and something they can build upon for years to come.
Absolutely, and I know that also, not only have you been working with staff and the community as well, but you've also been working with DuPage County as well regarding permits and what have you. So those are great partnerships to make, and thank you for all the hard work you're doing out there. And the fact that this now is the second project that your commission has underutilized green space is great. And if nobody understands what I'm referring to, is more recently, the Garden Village Commission has created a new natural park, and the community has named it. And we're not going to tell you the name right now, because we're going to do an unveiling in a few weeks when we have the sign printed for the community. So again, great job to the Garden Village Commission for finding underutilized green space and making something nice out of it.
Good job, ladies.
I'd like to entertain a motion to accept the Garden Village recommendation.
We'll definitely make that motion, please.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
I will second that.
Trustee Kumar? Attorney Morton?
Just to clarify, as with the previous recommendation, the motion would be to authorize the village manager to perform this under his spending authority. Otherwise, an ordinance would be required, and that's not, we don't have that prepared. You could also wait if you wanted by ordinance, but it's up to you.
So just to clarify, Trustee Constados, your...
My motion is to allow the village manager to spend the money for the picnic benches that the commission, the Garden Village Commission, is requesting.
Trustee Kumar, you seconded that?
I will second that motion.
Okay, so we have a first and a second. Is there any other discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabri.
Yes.
Okay. That motion passes. Okay, 17C, governance and administrative next steps. Manager Rivas.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is related to an email that was sent by Trustee Cordova on August 14th. I had acknowledged the email on the same day, about an hour later, and invoking the rules and regulations order, and it's subsection 3B3, board's direction to staff, that says any one request that takes longer than 2 hours of staff, we can bring it to the very next board meeting for further discussion and direction. And I just want to let you know, Trustee Cordova, respectfully, that we were compiling things as soon as you did ask. We did bring it before the department heads on the very next Tuesday and the 17th, so we are compiling the things you did ask. But I just, moving forward, I wanted to let you know that last week, we're VillaFest intensive, getting ready for Saturday. This week, I have 6 additional meetings for budgets. Each one's averaging about an hour and 15 minutes. I had 2 of them already. So I'm looking for additional direction and see what kind of logical timeline you'd like to have these things responded to, sir.
And Trustee Cordova, also too, for people watching at home that might not understand what the manager is referring to, can you just give us a general synopsis of what your email was requesting?
Yeah, so what let me pull it here. So we had a hectic couple of meetings over the last few weeks before the 14th that we had. And so I sent an email asking for a few things. What I asked for is if staff can start pulling together a clear picture of where we currently stand on the following. I'm going to read it because it's just easier. Number 1, governance. Roles, responsibilities, communication, and accountability between the board, village president, village manager, department heads, and staff. This should include how board requests are handled, reasonable response times, what happens when something isn't getting addressed, and how communication between the board and staff should work. So that's just asking just general how things should work here. The second piece is audit and financial controls, which we kind of talked about a little bit today, but what independent financial reviews and internal controls we currently have, what has been completed recently, what is still outstanding, and where additional independent review may take, or may make sense based on some of the issues and questions that have come up. So that is asking, what are we doing with our audits? Where do we stand with those? What's still outstanding? Procurement. What are processes around bids, contracts, purchasing, invoices, change orders, approval thresholds, and exceptions? I'd like to understand how we're checking that those processes are actually being followed. So literally just asking what our processes are around bids, contracts, everything like that. This one was specific to our HR director or our HR manager on personnel and privacy. I asked to lay out how employee information, complaints, investigations, personnel matters, and other sensitive information are handled, including who has access and when information can be shared. We also need a clear path for employees to raise concerns when going through their normal reporting structure isn't appropriate. Something that we've talked about here. Records retention, we need to make sure everyone understands what happens when village business is conducted through village email, texts, personal devices, and other platforms. What needs to be retained, how it is preserved, and how does it get produced, or how it gets produced when required. It shouldn't be a gray area. So that's literally just asking what our record retention policies are. And then finally, an independent and council review. We should have a process for determining when something needs to go outside of our regular village attorney or normal administrative structure because there's an actual or potential conflict. We shouldn't have to figure out from scratch every time something happens. So if we're doing an independent, or we're asking for a review or something, basically, if we're going to be investigating ourselves, I don't think we should be investigating ourselves because that's not quite as independent as it should be. And then I go on to say that some of these things are already in place. If it is, then great. Then it shouldn't be hard to pull and find and pull together. I'm not looking to reinvent things that are already working. I want to know what we have, what we don't have, where the gaps are, and what we need to do to go about them. I also didn't want to turn this into several meetings of debating whether what we need to do or if we need to do this. The village manager has been in this position for a while. This administration has been in place for a couple of years, and we've spent enough time in meetings that have gone completely off the rails. At some point, we need to stop talking about the dysfunction and start fixing the things that are contributing to it. I made it clear that I view this as part of the basic management accountability expectations of the village manager's office. This is not an optional exercise and something I want to see pushed off for several months. So having this question of when do I think it should be done, I'm not sure. I'd ask you on what a final date would be. I'm not asking for a 100-page report or for staff to rebuild everything from scratch. Just pull together what we have, identify what's missing, what needs work, and tell us who owns each piece, and give us a realistic timeline to get this done. We have a lot of work to do in our finances, infrastructure, economic development, the things that our residents expect us to get to be focused on, and we need to get our own house in order, and not something that keeps taking us away from it. So that was what I asked for. It's just literally just a book of documents, processes, procedures that we have in place. If we don't have them, why not? Can we build them? I don't think it was a big ask. If it's a big ask, let me know, but you've already asked, or you already said it's pretty busy, but in here I ask if you guys can provide me a timeline of which it would get done. I'm not saying do it by the end of the month or anything like that. I just want to know when it could be done.
So you just said a book of documents and procedures, and I think that is an ask, and I think it would be best to consider the manager's use of time as well. But also, we have to make sure that we have multiple trustees that want exactly what you want here as well. We can't just demand the manager utilize all his time because we want this now. So what I'm asking is that we have a little grace and give the village manager ample amount of time to be able to get your book of documents and procedures to satisfy that as well. But also moving forward is that we have to make sure that we are following the process and procedure for how things either get on to an agenda or how things get voted on, or directing the manager to do his duty as village manager in our form of government. Trustee Constados.
Thank you. It seems like a lot of these asks are things that are going to be kind of more given to department heads rather than the manager himself doing, such as like the finance part of it, the HR part of it. So are we, I guess my question then would be to Trustee Cordova, are we just, is this asking the manager to implement this to the staff? Because these aren't necessarily things a manager does himself. These are responsibilities that are passed on to the department that's in charge of that. So are we just saying, like Manager Rivas, these are some asks that we're looking for, please pass this on to the proper department, maybe ask them how long it's going to take for them to kind of gather the information to us, or the answers to these questions to us, and give them a deadline date as to do that? Or are you trying to say that this is something personally the manager should be doing himself? Because I don't think that that should be the case.
Trustee Constados, kind of piggyback off of that, part of managing a municipality as the village manager is delegating tasks to staff. And of course, while the manager is the head of that, staff are their own individual experts of their areas of expertise as well. And so I think that a request this large, a book of documents and procedures, definitely needs to go back to staff, maybe at a staff meeting or whatnot, so that way the manager can actually have a conversation with them to delegate those tasks and to see exactly how long it's going to take.
Exactly.
Because right now, I don't think it's even possible and or fair to put a timeline on something like this.
Well, I know that, do I still have the floor? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I know that our HR director has been in the process of trying to handle a lot of things as far as policies, handbooks, and whatnot that have never been in place before. So I know a lot of this is probably starting, but yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, are we asking our village manager, like, hey, here's something that we're looking for. Now he needs, I guess the understanding is that he needs to present this then to his department heads and ask them, hey, what is a reasonable amount of time that you can get this done, and then report back to us. First would be my ask before setting like a deadline of when this has to be done, because they already have their regular job duties to do on a daily as well, plus whatever else we've already piled on their plate.
Manager Rivas. Trustee Cordova.
So in the email, I say, I'm not asking for a 100-page report or for staff to rebuild everything from scratch. Pull together what we already have, identify what's missing or needs work, tell us who owns each piece, and give us a realistic timeline to get it done. In here, you guys all have the email. I'm happy to share it to whoever wants to listen to it or read it. This is the problem, isn't it? We don't have these things in place. These are, I feel, and from my understanding of other municipalities, are things that are in place. These are just processes, and if the HR manager is already working on this, then great. Then we've already identified that there are gaps. So it's,
I don't think anybody's debating whether or not policy and procedure is important, whether we should know it and have it in place. I think the question at hand is that regardless of what your email says, you said here tonight, book of documents and procedures. That sounds pretty time-consuming for the manager. So all I'm saying is, I think we should allow him the opportunity to go to his staff and delegate and see how long this process might take. I don't think it's fair to put a time frame
I didn't put a
on a
time frame
project
on
like
it.
this.
I didn't put a time frame on this.
What did your email say at the end?
You want me to read the whole thing?
Yeah,
What
go
part?
for it. You know, why not just read the whole thing so
Yeah,
everybody
very
knows what we're
good,
talking
Kevin.
about?
Very good. So on the very end here, I say, I'd like to get a confirmation receipt, which was done, and then see an initial response within the next 2 weeks, so we can get started moving this forward. So initial response
Did you get that
was-
already, your 2 weeks?
So I'd like to get a confirmation of receipt and then see an initial response. Hey, we already have some of this. We're on the way of working on this. We have our HR manager working on this. I think that, do we not have a rule in place of record retention or personnel and privacy issues, or how our bid processes go, or audit on how financial controls go, or just general governance of a staff? If we don't have that, that's what I'm asking for in here.
When did you send that email?
8/14.
August 14th.
Oh, so 10 days ago. So it's been within 2 weeks, and he's given you that receipt because it's here on the agenda tonight.
Yeah.
Okay.
I received your email.
Okay.
He sent it right after, pretty close, like less than an hour, a little bit more than an hour after, and that's
Okay.
it. That was it.
So he's adhered to everything you've asked so far?
Yeah, I didn't put this on
Okay.
the agenda. You guys just put it on and asked me to read, so I did it.
I guess we didn't understand your ask.
Read the
then.
email. Read the email. Yeah, I just read it. I can read it again if you need me to, but I didn't say anything about put this on the agenda. I'm just asking for these things.
Proper procedure, though, is that if you want anything to happen, you have to have a board vote on it. And that's why it's
So I'm
on-
able to make a motion? Is that what we need?
Manager Rivas?
If I may, we're going to have another meeting tomorrow, as we do every week, department head meeting, and we're going to try and get you a realistic timeline, and we'll send it to the entire board. Because today, we were inundated with requests from an elected official that took my staff several hours to compile whatever this packet is here. So we get these kinds of requests, whatever this
What is it?
packet is.
What is this?
This was the request by the clerk of my staff to put this together, which we did. And all I'm saying is that we have 7 elected officials. You may not know what other elected officials are requesting as well. And we do get these requests quite often, and we do our best to comply with them. And we will, in this instance, I promise you that, we have many of these processes in place, so I just want to push back a little bit. We do have these processes, many of these processes in place. It's compiling them, putting them together, and then putting them together to distribute them back to the board.
Trustee Kozar.
How long does trustee Cordova think this will take to compile, and how many pages do you think it will be?
Part of what Manager Rivas said is that some of these things are already in place, so I'm not sure how long it will take. That's why I ask in here, and give us a realistic timeline to get it done. So I'm not asking for a 100-page report or for staff to rebuild everything from scratch. I'm asking to pull together what we already have, identify what's missing or needs work, tell us who owns each piece, and give us a realistic timeline to get it done.
So my question was, how long does trustee Cordova think it will take, and how many pages? 2 simple questions. Mr. President, can you ask trustee Cordova how long he thinks it will take, and how many pages it will be?
Trustee Cordova.
Yeah,
How many
so
pages?
in here, again, I say, I'm not asking for 100 page. So you know what, I'll say 99 page, whatever. I don't know what you have in place right now, So my answer is, I'm not sure. You just said that it's already in place, things are here. So I'm going to make a motion to see if anyone else will second this, and then we can take this again, and then we can ask for, which he already did, gave me confirmation, see what the initial response is, and then we can get this moving forward.
I think I still have the floor.
Yes, you do.
So I'm still not getting that. Does trustee Cordova not have an estimate of how much time it's going to take? Like he sends out this elaborate email with no concept of how much work is involved with this. Not even an estimate or a guess. And he has no idea how many pages it's going to be. Is that what I should conclude here?
Attorney Morton.
I don't have a response to that. I was just going to ask trustee Cordova, do you want things piecemeal? Like if something exists, do you want it now, or do you want everything compiled together for one package?
If things are ready, and like I think Manager Rivas said, they're already there. They just have to compile them. If they're already there, send it. If it's piecemealed, make it one email thread. We ask, and of course, I don't work in municipality, I'm just an elected official, but in the corporate side, this goes for every single position. You guys have worked at different places. You guys probably had this at other places that you worked, right? I don't know, I'm not asking, but I'm just think about it, right? These are basic things that should, roles, responsibility, communication, accountability between board, village president, and we have that in place. We just talked about that tonight. Audit, financial controls, we just talked about that. Like, these things do exist. We've never seen them. I don't know why this is such a big ask or why everyone's whatever, but I have a motion on the floor.
Trustee Constados.
Thank you. May I make a suggestion? If there's stuff that's already implemented, rather than sending some big, long, 20 pages of this, 50 pages of that, would it
Trustee Constados, go ahead.
would it be okay if something was sent to us just saying like, this is already an ordinance, or this is already a policy, you can find it here in the handbook page, blah, 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 and then we can just go to that page rather than having staff compile and copy and all of that information? Would that be, that's kind of why I was waiting for him to
Sorry, I
finish.
apologize.
No, that's okay. I'll re-say. Would it be possible to save staff time, to say like, we already have, let's just say, this policy of what happens if somebody has a complaint to file. It is located in the handbook on such and such page. Would it be okay in an email to just say, this is in this book on this page, rather than have them email the entire thing, the verbiage from that book, or the entire book, or 20 pages, when they could just simply point us in the right direction, so it wouldn't take staff as much time to do?
So-
Would that be sufficient for everybody?
So this is turning into be a lot, like trustee Cordova said. I mean, I think it's only fair that we allow our village manager the opportunity to discuss this with his staff, to come up with what he thinks is a timeline that's can be asked of, with everything that you're asking of him as well. I'd entertain a motion to table this until we could at least have staff and Manager Rivas talk about this. This seems like you're just overloading him. I mean, you just talked about, we're going into budgeting season. We just got out of Villa Fest. And you keep saying that we need to move forward, we need to move on, we need to keep, focusing on things, right? Economic development, well, part of that is our budget and stuff. Let's let him do his job and get us this. We can piecemeal it back to you, or whatever you need, however you need it, but a book of documents or procedures. To trustee Kozar's part, he couldn't give us an exact date or page number, and then you turned it to 99 pages. Let's just let staff decide this and get back to us on their time. Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. I think going to what Trustee Constados was saying, this is where a spreadsheet actually makes sense, where you can just push down like governance, boom, tell us where to find it. I hope that much of this already exists, so I think it's just a matter of compiling where it is and putting it in one document where it's easy to read, it's easy to find, it's easy to see, and there are no questions. And then anything that doesn't have something next to it, then we know what still needs to be done. I'm not sure if Trustee Cordova has an end date for when things to be done. I think right now it's just a matter of what do we have and what don't we have.
Do you think it's reasonable, though, to let our village manager ask the staff how long this will take them to compile? Maybe it's a week, maybe it's a month, I don't know, but I mean, to be able to not know exactly what you're looking for, not a paid document, or how much time it's going to invest staff to take care of, I think it's only fair that they have that opportunity to give us that answer.
I mean, if you're asking me and you want my answer is why spend the time doing that when you could just start the document, start putting things in there and just kind of going along in the way.
I'm not
That's
disputing, I think it's a wonderful idea.
That's my thought.
But I think that the question on the table is like, there's a time frame here.
I don't know that there is.
Okay, so there's no time frame on
I'm
this.
not seeing a time frame here.
Okay, so if this is something that takes the manager a month to do, you're okay with that? Trustee Cordova?
I'm not, I say it again, I'm not asking for anything to be built from scratch. Pull together what we already have. Identify what's missing or needs work. Tell us who owns each piece and give us a realistic timeline to get it done. That's in here. I'm not asking. If it
Okay.
takes a month, if it takes 2 months, great. But put a timeline on it and then we can be accountable to it. Just like I ask in here. There's no roles, responsibility, communication, accountability between and that's what I'm asking for.
Okay.
So if it takes a month or two, then say it's going to be September 15th or 18th or October 1st, and then that's the accountability piece. Then we can work our way backwards.
Fair enough, thank you for clarifying. You know what, and we don't need a vote or a motion, we just need a consensus that this is what the rest of the board feels that we should do. Trustee Kumar?
I would like to say that there is a little bit of administrative chaos that is Trustee Cordova is trying to address with this. There's nothing wrong with trying to address the problem. The timeline, again, right now is flexible. He's promised it's flexible. We've got a great idea here to address it in a flexible, slow way if necessary. So it's just getting information. So I do not know what the bite back is about time and all of this. Just get the information out.
Okay.
And that's it, in whatever comfortable time frame you have.
Okay, I'd like to take a consensus of the board then to allow Manager Rivas to put this together. Clerk Lauken, can we do a consensus, please? Or actually... Is there a motion? No, we don't need a motion. It's a consensus, it's a straw poll.
I thought we do
We're
need a
asking for
motion.
direction.
Because that's the direction, and we
It's
can't do
direction.
direction without having a motion and seconded by another trustee.
But,
Which has
okay,
not been done yet, by the way.
okay, so...
Just talked about that.
All right, okay.
I thought he already made the motion, did you not, or no?
Yeah.
What we are asking is, you are asking for information that already exists, right? Why do we have to make a motion to ask for something that exists?
Because I'd be directing staff, and in order for us to direct staff that we just talked about in here, and in item 12, I think it was that we need 2 people to do that. So all I'm doing is following the rules that we just made.
So, Trustee Cordova, just so you know, is that as an elected official, you have the right and access to certain information. You don't have to have 2 people request that information for you to get that information.
So why, go ahead, Attorney Morton.
Go ahead, please.
I think we can move forward on this in listening to the discussion. I agree that with Trustee Cordova
Let's just take
that a vote would be appropriate.
Let's just take a vote.
And then it
Clerk
can
Lauken,
be
if we
decided.
could take a vote, please.
Thank you. Thank you.
Roll call vote.
We don't have a second.
I thought you made a motion.
Made a motion.
Okay, who wants to second
I will
this?
second it,
Trustee
thank you.
Kumar, any more discussion? Okay, roll call vote, please.
Trustee Alfano.
Yes.
Trustee Cordova.
Yes.
Trustee Constados.
Yes.
Trustee Kozar.
Yes.
Trustee Kumar.
Yes.
Trustee Sabee.
Yes.
All right.
Okay.
Manager Rivas,
Yes, sir.
do you understand what's being asked?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
And I'll try and get a responsible, respectful timeline as quickly as I can to the board.
Okay, thank you. Moving on, Village Commission reports. Item 18. Yep.
If we have new business.
Yeah,
to
we
bring-
have my new
Bring that up
business,
now.
my amendments.
I do.
Okay.
I have something I'd like to add as
All
well.
right, hold on one second. So trustee Kumar, you had a whole list of new business that you wanted added on.
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna lead with trustee Alfano. She wants new business as well. Oh, well, unless you have a long list too.
I do not have a long list.
Okay.
Mine is very short.
Okay.
You want me- Okay, so I'll go first. So, I have sent this, I did not get any response, and it was not miraculously put on the agenda like some other people's asks were. I am asking that we have IML come in to do and help us with the self-evaluation, because we have problems getting work done for the village and staying focused on the work that needs to be done for the village. I propose that it is IML that does it. We are all part of IML, and we have almost all of us have gone to trainings. But we've talked about how trust is waning, trust is broken. We see that. That is all that I hear from residents, is why aren't we just get the work done, my roads, my sidewalks. We need help focusing on that. And I think it would really benefit us to bring that in. I don't know why anybody would not want that.
Manager Rivas?
I'm going to call up HR Manager Pierce, if I could.
I actually spoke with IML this afternoon to get some of that going, and they just need me to coordinate first a phone call or a virtual meeting. It could be myself and both Trustee Alfano and President Patrick, so that they can get an idea of exactly what you guys would like in the training, and then they will pick a date where they'll be in a closed session to be able to provide the training for you. So I had that email come in like 3 hours ago, so I didn't have a chance to email both of you yet, so we are getting that ball rolling.
I appreciate that, because I've reached out to them many months ago. So I do appreciate that we have somebody kind of reaching out. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Trustee Kumar?
Yeah, and on that point, I also seconded that motion, and it did go through. I think, I guess they decided not to put it on the agenda, but since we are acting on it, I am rather happy. I do feel that this board is a bit defunct, and that training can help us. There's a lot going on, and a lot of the concerns I have with board morale, I think any training we get can be helpful.
Thank you.
Attorney Morton?
Trustee Alfano and Trustee Kumar, because I'm involved in the putting together of the agendas, I never saw this, so I don't know who was on the email, but not that you're required to tell me. I'm not one of the ones listed, but to explain why it wasn't on the agenda today, I wasn't aware there was a motion or second.
Okay, but you're not the only one who puts the agenda together, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Can you clarify then, please, Ken, if I could ask?
Yes,
Can
Manager
you
Rivas.
clarify who you sent the agenda to? I might have missed it. I apologize if I did.
It was to the board. I did not understand that if we wanted to put something on the agenda, that we didn't have to just go to the board, because it is going to President Patrick, and he does help put the agenda together, unless I'm mistaken on that.
Yeah, the village president does put together with the assistance of the village attorney and the village manager.
Okay.
So I don't recall the email coming out either or a second, so if
It
not,
was sent on Monday.
well, what I was saying is, if it happened, it's very easily, I missed it. I mean, there's been a lot of other things going on, like me trying to get executive session audio minutes and trying to listen in on stuff like that, but transcripts and stuff like that, but that's another topic of conversation. Trustee Constados?
Thank you. Two things. My first thing is, even when something is requested to be on the agenda, do we not have something in an ordinance that states there's a certain amount of time? I mean, it could be this agenda, it could be the next agenda, or is that not for trustees requesting things? would be my first question for legal. I have a second one after you answer that, though, please.
Could you go to your second while I pull up the board rules?
Yes, my second one is, would this IML class, which I am all for, be in addition to what was recommended, just to clarify, because I believe your email said it was Manager Rivas who requested or recommended something, when actually it was HR Director Jackie Pierce that requested and recommended a boot camp that did not come from the manager. Would this be in addition to that? Because I was actually very looking forward to that. I'm game for both. I just want to make the clarification.
It's actually the same exact thing. There was miscommunication to us from IML. Somebody at IML said that they got rid of the program. They actually didn't. So IAPD does the exact same training as IML. So that's why I actually reached out to IML, because it would fit more the municipality
So it's the same
type of thing. Same exact training that I had presented with the other. Yep.
Okay. Sure.
Trustee Constados, to clarify from the rules of order, which this ties into part of the amendment that you voted on today. If two or more trustees submit in writing to the village manager, village clerk, and village president a request for a specific item to be placed on the agenda in a timely fashion, it shall be added to the next agenda. An item for new business must be submitted at least 5 days prior to the meeting to be included in new business, or 2 weeks prior to the meeting if the request includes direction to staff for a resolution or an ordinance.
Okay, so maybe we need to clarify, because that's a little bit of a gray area. What is 5 days? If it was sent on Monday, that's a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's only 4 days before the agenda goes out. So does that, I mean, it's a little gray, so I'm not sure where that would fall in. I just wanted to make it clear that there's a time frame, correct?
That specific example, that wouldn't be a gray area. That's, if it was made on Monday, that's a week before the board meeting. It's not about when the agenda gets posted, but how many days before the board meeting.
Okay, so it says how many days before the board meeting in there?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to clarify that, because it sounded like everybody was trying to, I don't want accusations. I'm trying to avoid accusations, so I just asked the question.
Well, one of the things I'd like to clear up for this board as well is that, Manager Rivas, when does the agenda packet usually come out?
The finalized agenda packet typically on Thursday. This last week, that was not possible. We had to release it on Friday because of a technical error, a technology error, I should say, with Civic Plus.
Okay.
But the agenda draft comes out on Monday.
Okay, so that being said, too, is that this board, if you think something should be on that agenda, whether it has been first, second, or whatnot, and it's not on there, you have the opportunity to send an email just for clarification of why it's not on the agenda or not. Things happen, absolutely. But if the board packet comes out then, that's plenty of time to send an email as well if you don't see something that you've requested being on that agenda. Okay. New business.
Okay.
Is that everybody else? Any new business from anybody else?
No, we skipped my old business, but we'll hit that another day.
Okay. Trustee Kumar.
Yes, I have a lot to say here. Ratification. I have been very, very concerned since that, and I've been coming to the village a lot to talk to Manager Rivas and everybody about the August 10th document that was handed out. Now, there's a lot of clarity that's lacking in that document that was handed out. What you get off the website is not what you got as a document. First of all, it's marked up by our legal counsel, which is not clarified, so there's no actual credit given for that. And also, it is reassessed by our president in a certain way with line items and spaces, all that document. Wait,
We've already discussed this item on the agenda, so are you having new business related to this?
yes, I do, and that's where I'm getting to.
Okay.
I'm explaining my new business. And the first thing I want is a ratification of the independent investigation scope, a motion to formally ratify the administrative boundaries of the independent personnel review group to address this issue. This document, when it came out, how it came out, where it came from, look for the recording, the video, actually look into this in detail, because where is the recording that matches up with this document? Where is the analysis? Who did the analysis on this document? Why is it analyzed and handed out to the public? So I want that checked by this.
What about where the other transcripts are?
Fine.
Okay.
And also, who has the AI Plod devices, and who all on the board have such devices, and how they're using those devices? I would like to know. I don't have one. I'm just gonna spell out. I do not have a device. I'm not planning on recording anyone. I don't know why others on this board have such a device in the first place, including who has it, okay? So that's my first. Emergency personnel protection. I've been coming back and forth, and I do feel that this document being released has put stress on our finance director. So I'm going to, until the investigation is complete, I'm going to freeze her employment benefits, core duties as a finance director. That's it. That's what I'm saying. Digital evidence. I would like it to be saved. Any digital evidence that exists with regards to this document, where is it? Right? I would like all that digital evidence saved. A mandatory order directing all elected officials, all of them, and the staff to preserve any digital data, phone logs, AI metadata that exists related to this document. Where is it? So, and finally, that using village stationery and passing it out, there is a municipal code that deals with that. That should not have been passed out on municipal stationery by our president, and I would like a formal resolution calling out the unauthorized use of the village letterhead on August 10th, 2026, and demand strict adherence to the existing ordinances within Chapter 2 of the Village Municipal Code. And that's it. Now we can discuss each one separately. We can discuss them as a whole. That's up to you as a board. I can discuss my reasoning.
Yeah, Trustee Kumar, actually, I agree with you on some of this stuff. I also would like to know where the digital evidence is as well. The other recordings, the other transcripts, all the emails, all the call logs. Also, maybe like personal calendars of when trustees are meeting outside of Village Hall to speak with personnel and staff about village business, not at Village Hall. I think that's all important as well, and I'm absolutely on board for ratifying this investigation to include all those. But to that point is that when you were in that executive session with us and this board agreed on that, is that was already part of the scope. Am I, Trustee Constados?
Thank you. If we're going to discuss this, let's discuss this, but a lot of the things you mentioned, I guess we should be directing our questions to Trustee Sabri. You're asking where the document came from, and my question, I guess, is to Trustee Sabri, did you not give me the document?
I think, first of all, Trustee Sabri doesn't have to answer any of these questions because he had the opportunity when it was on the agenda earlier and he chose not to. But you can ask, but he doesn't have to respond.
That's fine. That's all
Trustee
and
Sabri?
fine. We're discussing this, and she is asking these questions of us, correct?
I think
She's
they're
asking, first off, the questions pertain to the document that was passed out, not to the investigation as a full, okay? For one. For two, the question you're asking should be directed to the person who actually handed me the documents. let me finish, because I have the floor still, thank you, okay? Number 3, you are saying that this document has put stress on our finance lady. That is the most biased statement I have ever heard. What about our village manager? What about the rest of the staff that was named in the transcripts? What about the staff that you have been going to over the last 2 weeks, coming in and out of Village Hall, talking to? Everybody is so stressed out on our staff that they're afraid to talk, afraid not to talk. Who's going to get fired next? Who's going to get called out from HR next? So you're asking all these questions, but if we're going to give answers, let's give answers. That transcript was handed to me from Trustee Sabri. I put that transcript in an envelope that I received from Clerk Rolf Lofkin, okay, of documents that he gave to me, of which he also gave a set of documents to Trustee Alfano prior to me getting my set. I put those documents in the same envelope. When we started having issues with the clerk not wanting to allow our president and trustee access to the minutes, I took said packet and gave it to President Patrick. I did not remember those transcripts were in there. I never read the transcripts. They're like 15 or 20 pages long, whatever the heck it is. I didn't know until I received a phone call later from President Patrick asking me what those transcripts, how I got them. And I was like, what are you talking about? That's when my brain was refreshed that was in there as well. That was not intentionally handed to President Patrick by any means. You can believe whatever you want. I'm not here to try to make you believe me. I know what my truth is, and I know what the truth is. So yes, the packet was given to me, that transcript packet was given to me by Trustee Sabri. And there was also information from the clerk given to me in a packet that he also gave to Trustee Alfano. So ask whatever question you want. You talk about wanting transparency, let's give people transparency. Let's be honest, because I am being 100% honest here. So, what else? What other question do you have? Ask Trustee Sabri. Did you give me that transcript in your office?
Trustee Sabri, would you like to answer?
No comment for her questions.
No comment. Trustee Constados.
I don't know what to
Constados still
say.
has the floor, please.
I don't know what to say. I mean, you're asking these questions, you're saying that we need to protect our finance lady. You are picking one employee out of all of our employees and saying this one person needs to be protected. That is bias. That is bias. And you talk about this investigation is being tainted. That's tainting the investigation by trying to direct it towards one person only. Why are you not trying to protect Manager Rivas as well? Does this transcript not affect him? Does it not affect the rest of the staff? Let's be realistic here. Who's biased about what?
So the other portion of this ratification was that I used village stationery in my official capacity as village president to supply a report to a requested state's attorney's office that requested this information from me. In my capacity as village president, I do believe that I have it within my authority to supply on village letterhead the document that was requested to me by the state's attorney's office. But I think it's odd that I'm being attacked for using village letterhead when you have a trustee secretly recording conversations with employees. And you know, I mean, you've got the documents out there. You could read through some of the comments that were said in here. This is no mistake. This document was handed in an official capacity by trustee Sabri to trustee Constados at trustee Sabri's office in Villa Park on December 5th. Now, when you are an elected official and you have
Point of
another
order.
meeting with another...
Point of order.
Yes.
See, now they're trying to silence me, too. You see this? This is weird, everybody.
Point of order.
They're trying, what are you guys trying to hide? I can't get executive session audio. You guys are trying to break down what I'm talking about, these secret transcripts. If Villa Park wants a conspiracy, look right here. This is getting
Point of
out
order.
of hand.
But this is point of order.
Point of order.
She brought it up under new,
I'll second that motion.
Wait, there is no motion to be had.
she brought it up
Stop.
under
Hold
new
hold on,
business.
hold on.
I made the motion
Hold
at
on.
the beginning.
If you would just please listen. First of all,
Point of order.
there is no motion that has been clarified here. Second of all, you can't make a motion to ratify something without putting it on agenda first.
Yes, you can.
If I may,
I made an-
the motion, because it's under new business, I believe that trustee Kumar has made the motion by stating these 4 things that she wants on the next agenda under new business. It requires a second person to agree, and we have a second now from trustee
We're
Cordova.
having discussion.
But now
So
there's
the-
discussion.
Well, the item is now, there's no vote to be taken on this. It's just goes to the next meeting.
So I ask everybody to bring your questions for trustee Sabri and the rest of these 4 to the next meeting. Absolutely. All right. Wow. All right, so is there any other new business? Okay. There are, we're moving along. Village Commission reports, item 18A, Green Commission minutes from minutes held on July 21st, 2026. 18B, Fund Commission minutes from the meeting held on June 23rd, 2026. 18C, Plan Commission meeting minutes from the meeting held on June 17th, 2026. Any discussion? Seeing none, moving along. Village Clerk's report.
Excuse me. During the execution of my official duties as village clerk for the Village of Villa Park, I became aware of illegal activities necessitating legal scrutiny, analysis, and investigation. I'm currently engaged with independent counsel and Illinois State regarding these findings. At the explicit recommendation, I am prohibited from sharing further details, documents, or commentary to ensure the integrity of the legal process. Mungo sad. Mungo just a pawn in the chess game of life.
Oh, my God.
Can you clarify?
It's from Blazing Saddles.
No, I didn't mean the quote. I meant your statement. Can you clarify what you just said? You were working with who?
During the execution of the official duties as village clerk for the Village of Villa Park, I became aware of illegal activities necessitating independent legal scrutiny, analysis, and evaluation. I will not violate the oath of my office.
I'm just going to make a comment really quick here, too. According to the DuPage County's Attorney State Office incident report that was handed out at the last meeting, too, there was also another trustee that had many allegations about multiple businesses in town and multiple staff members that also came back as having absolutely no credibility or evidence. I don't know if that requires the clerk as well, but, okay.
Did I mention
Moving
DuPage
on.
County?
No,
Then
that's,
why did you mention DuPage County?
I asked for clarification, sir.
Well, clarification, it's called obfuscation. It's called trying to deflect and dodge. It's bullshit.
I agree. I agree.
Good.
Okay.
This is what.
Is your report done?
Oh, I'm sorry. Ryan Morton, would you like to discuss the packages for the, there are 3 available trustee.
Excuse me.
Would you like to discuss where that sits right now?
Clerk, you're asking about packet of information on how people, if people want to run for office?
Yes, sir.
There are 3 spots open in the next municipal election on the village board. There's also a library board that has several openings as well. There are packets of information available on the State Board of Elections website, the Illinois State Board of Elections website. You can, if you're interested in running, you can access that packet, or there's also a calendar to inform you of when things are due. The clerk's office is responsible for when those packets are turned in.
If anybody would like to receive a package, all they need to do is call me at 630-415-7500, and I will hand deliver a package to them.
Should hand deliver those minutes with it.
All done.
Okay. Moving right along, item 20, Village Trustees Report, starting on my left, Trustee Kumar.
Yeah, Mr. President, to start with, I'm going to start with the positives. I think Villa Fest was a beautiful occasion, and honestly, the staff did a great job. It was a beautiful occasion that ran really, really well, and I was very happy with that aspect. I would also like to talk about how well the Green Commission is working together to get some new stuff. They're thinking about composting. I will bring that soon to the board. I think there's a lot on this agenda, so I'm going to save it for a better day. But they're talking about composting possibilities and grants in that. I would like to bring all that to staff and the board a little bit later. I would also wanted to talk about the Cat Guardians a little bit, and they're having well, let me come back to that, because I need that email. Can you just give me a second? And they're having their New Beginnings Party on Saturday, August 29th from 11 to 3 p.m. And for a $5 donation per person, and this is at 1226 South, Villa Avenue. It's their New Beginnings, no, sorry, it's at 932 East St. Charles Road at their new place, and anybody who wants to help the cats, it's a $5 entry donation. There'll be snow cones, popcorn, and you can visit with their adoptable cats. It's a great organization that's doing some great things in town. So that's the positive there. They would love the help. If you're a cat person, please come out there on, as I said, on Saturday, August 29th, between 11 and 3. Now, other than that, I want to address what I've been wanting to address for a while, Mr. President, members of the board, and residents of Villa Park. I'm speaking tonight to directly address what I think is administrative chaos disrupting our village hall. And I feel for staff. I certainly feel for staff. This chaos did not start just now on August 10th. It's kind of endemic. Some of it is endemic, and I think we're trying to address those endemic problems. Some of the HR system, the communication breakdown, the institutional friction, while some really are refusing to admit that there is a failure, there is a failure. If it's kind of happening that we're getting together to speak about things, there are problems, and we have to deal with those as a board. So the special meeting on June 29th was to direct an attempt to actually control this, confront this critical financial issues. Address the issues at hand, address the management issues, and get what is happening dealt with, right? We have a budget that's way in the hole. We've been talking about that. It's something that we have to turn around with staff. We're just trying to address the issues. I don't know how August 10th, I call it a political hit. Instead of letting the process work, letting us address the issues at hand, there's individual members of our board making the problems worse, right? On August 10th, a unverified, highlighted transcript of non-consensual, okay, it was non-consensual, private conversation was printed on official stationery and distributed publicly. Okay, I now possess clear, documented, written evidence that was distributed without telling us, the board, early. You had that information, President Patrick, by July 31st, when that investigation was concluded. There was no reason not to bring it to the board immediately and pass it out in this political way. It put a huge amount of stress on Manager Rivas and staff. Manager Rivas and staff. It's a huge burden. It was unacceptable, okay? Now, as we listen to the explanations tonight regarding the recording, which I haven't got any real explanation, there is no recording. Is the recording for real? I have no clue. I only have a transcript. Where did the transcript come? Is the recording fake or non-existent? I don't have a clue. If the defense is patient privacy, are patients involved in these recordings? Because this is an AI technology that I do know doctors use, medical professionals use. So, and it's out in the medical field. Is anything else on there? So that's why I want the independent investigation. Nobody's supporting anyone. Nobody's against anyone. I think all the members that dealt with this had this information, and I can tell you, I did not see this document till August 10th. I don't know which other trustees had that same issue, but if the report was given on July 31st, there was no reason not to pass it to us on August 1st. We're there as a board. But here our board is defunct. Our board is defunct. We're putting pressure on our staff. All for what? No reason. No reason. So that's what I was asking for today. I was asking for that clarity, that clearness. And why am I protecting the finance director? She's named in that document as an unauthorized individual. Nobody else is named in that document authorized. There are staff and there are residents asking for that investigation, so I'm asking for that investigation. Whoever is involved, investigate them all. That's all I'm asking. Investigate our president, investigate Trustee Constantos. If I was involved and didn't pass it, investigate me, please. Investigate, whoever is involved. That's all I'm asking. And I don't think that's wrong. And that's where I'm going to end.
Trustee Sabri, you have an opportunity to give your trustee report if you'd like.
Yes, village residents, council, and the member of the board. I received that document on August 10th in our village board meeting, fabricated, dated December 5th, 2025. That's what the document says. I knew nothing about this highlighted color document and also the police report. I know the residents are watching and they're also reviewing that meeting as well. And we had 900 and plus residents view that meeting so far. The question comes is why? The question I ask is it about me? Or my reaction going back and forth about this document? I have been asking the same questions for a long time. Our residents can go back and they can review December 8th, 2025 meeting, the question I was asking. December 15th, the budget meeting, and also you can review the December 29th meeting. On December 29th meeting, one of my fellow trustee said to the entire village, "Good luck, Villa Park." And today, on August 24th, 2026, I'm asking the village resident, can you handle the truth? I know some of us at this board, they're saying that our residents, they have deep pockets. Let's see where those deep pockets are. This is the end of my report.
Trustee Alfano.
Thank you. Good evening. I do want to start with something that I think is a celebration. It's a celebration for our staff. It's a celebration for our village. It's a celebration for the Villa Fest Subcommission. It's a celebration for those people who came out who don't live in Villa Park, but got to see how welcoming Villa Park is and how we can celebrate summer. I want to congratulate those members of the Villa Fest Subcommittee. I want to thank Lily Morgan for the constant communication back and forth between the subcommission and the staff. I want to thank Manager Rivas because we did have somebody who came today, and she didn't identify herself as one, but she is a member of the Villa Fest Subcommission, and there was definitely some trial and tribulation. There was a point where they were likely going to say, no, we're not doing this. Villa Park just won't have anything this summer. And they, for some reason, decided to change that and went through things, and Manager Rivas stepped up and helped with all of that communication as well. And she's right, he did apologize at the last meeting and said that if there was any contention, it was not intentional, even if it might have felt intentional, and I do believe that he really means that. And I can speak for many of those on the subcommission who are really grateful that you said the words that you did. So thank you, sir, for doing that. I heard a lot of great things about our celebration for summer, so thank you to that small but mighty group that helped put that together with staff, which is not a small and mighty group, but really did have a lot of input and a lot of things to do that day. Thank you. Moving on to other scheduled events, the Fun Commission meeting is tomorrow at 5:30. They are planning the annual Autumn Jubilee. That's underway. Volunteers are welcome for that event. And that event is scheduled for Saturday, October 10th from 11 to 5. I know October will come before we know it. The Community Recreation Commission, which I also represent there, meets this Wednesday at 7 as well. State Representative Diane Blair Sherlock asked me to reach out about Geek Palooza, which is Sunday, September 13th from 12 to 3 at the Historic Museum on Villa Avenue. You can check out that website or her website for more. There is also, this may be very exciting for those of you who are doing some fall cleaning, there's a shred event hosted with our Representative Blair Sherlock and our Senator Gloria Hilton. That is, I believe, also being assisted by our Villa Park employees. That is September 12th. It's at Villa Park Public Works, 11 West Home Avenue. Bring those bank statements and all of those things that you would like to shred from your home to that event on that evening, or in that day rather, 9 to 12. And I will leave my report at that for tonight. Thank you. It is an honor to serve you, Villa Park.
Trustee Constados.
Thank you. I'm going to say this, and this is going to be the last time I'm going to address these issues until I'm asked questions during the investigation. But there's been emails sent out from trustees that talk about, and I quote, "the investigation being tainted or biased." But then ask, how are we going to protect one employee? And that's not bias? Shouldn't it be how are we going to protect both employees involved for the rest of the investigation? Shouldn't it be, how are we going to protect the employees that were talked about in the transcripts? Shouldn't it be, how are we going to protect all the employees that are affected by everything that's going on, even if they weren't talked about because all of the tension that's going on in Village Hall? Shouldn't we talk about how we're going to make the environment better so staff can get their jobs done and not be worried about being fired, or certain trustees coming in and questioning them or trying to get them to forget what happened, even though the trustees have been instructed not to meet with the staff? That's not bias. It's not bias to say that you can't run for being a trustee again if the manager, Rivas, is in that position because you won't have support from your Democrats. It's not bias to say these men need to stand aside and let the women take control. Another trustee said we should stand aside and let staff do their jobs, yet for the last couple weeks, she even just admitted she's been in here talking to everybody who will listen and talk to her. Staff is not going to tell any of us to go to the village manager because that's the way the ordinance reads. They're too afraid of losing their jobs right now. They're under so much pressure right now that they feel like their jobs are at stake. Officials are walking out of sessions and not allowing processes and work to be finished and finalized. The clerk refuses to let the president and another trustee listen to executive session and now is refusing to turn the information over to the investigator. This investigation is being done by a professional company that does not benefit from this investigation in any other way other than us paying them the money required to do it. I also find it insulting to think that it would be biased and tainted, being as this company came highly recommended by our new HR manager, who has only been here for a couple of months. So are we saying that she is biased? That's just ridiculous. These are just excuses now being used to try to get out of an investigation being done because some don't want to be interviewed and ask questions or have to answer them. And some may be scared of what the actual outcome is going to be from the investigation and not being in their favor of their biased opinion. We all voted for this investigation. The people are curious to find out the answers to this, and I encourage all trustees to step aside and let the investigation go as planned and not interfere with it and not try to taint any of the residents' opinions of the investigation being done or the results that will come out to benefit themselves personally and or politically. Let's remember there's an election coming up soon. Take that into consideration when you're listening to gossip and excuses. Also remember, transparency is not what one individual sees fit as telling the public, but the good, the bad, and the ugly as well. With that being said, I challenge and encourage every trustee up here, including our village clerk, to do their due diligence. Manager Rivas has given this board more information and leniency than any other board previously before us. Recently, we have been reminded of those ordinances and policies by Attorney Morton. I ask that everyone up here adhere to them and not think they are an exception. And the last thing I have to say is, Trustee Sabri, if you are saying the meeting didn't take place, you did not record the meeting, and you did not give me the transcripts in your office, well, you know the truth. And so do I. And that's all I have to say.
Trustee Cordova.
Summer's over in Villa Park. School started last week. This week is the first full week for all the schools in Villa Park. I see them at the bus, see them running around. Had a very nice a lot of people were at Willowbrook on Friday for their football game. It was great. A little bit of weird weather, but they ended up winning, which is great. So that's always nice for the community. And then I was out of town, but from everyone that I've heard from, Villa Fest was a nice success. So kudos to staff, kudos to the Fund Commission, kudos to everyone involved. And then, as we kind of move through the fall, there's a lot of great things happening in Villa Park. Just keep that in mind. There's a lot of crazy things happening as well, and keep that in mind as well. But for the most part, congratulations to all the parents that have sent all their children off to school this week and last. That's it.
Trustee Kozar. Boy, a lot has been said tonight, hasn't it? I want to talk about our clerk here. After sending me an email on, I think it was Friday, telling me to gargle parts of my anatomy, telling me to take him to court if I wanted something that by right as a trustee I have, which is to see or listen to the audio of that meeting. And he threatens me and says, "Don't show your face in Villa Park." Pretty classy guy. I asked him what his issue is with me, and he wouldn't tell me. That's just cowardice. If you've got an issue with me, speak up. Tell me what that issue is. And I'm telling you again, Clerk Lauken, if you have an issue with me, tell me what that issue is. Don't threaten me. Just speak up. Then Clerk Lauken puts this packet on everybody's seat at the dais. And one of them is a draft complaint for a writ of mandamus. So for starters, he miscites even the law coming into it. And I want to be clear to the clerk, I'm not asking to listen to that audio by submitting a FOIA. I'm doing it as my role of an elected official and a trustee, that I have by right to listen to it. It's not a FOIA. So in your complaint where you talk about the Freedom of Information Act and the Open Meetings Act, I would turn your attention to Beer Barn Inc. versus Dillard. You might want to write that down, or I guess you can get it off the video here. 227 Illinois Appellate Court, 3rd District, 68, 1992 case. Look it up, clerk, and read it. The clerk gave his report and said he was talking to legal counsel who advised him not to speak. And in that email, I've got what I presume is his legal counsel. He sent us an email where he's exchanging emails back and forth with his legal counsel. Michael Gerhardt, I'm assuming that's your attorney? What's the purpose of sending this? His email address, mgerhardtlaw@gmail.com. But yet you can't speak about it. I'm asking the clerk right now, let me listen to that video, or let me listen to that audio. Do you refuse to do that? I'm asking you a question. Do you refuse to let me listen to that audio?
Regarding this matter, I've been instructed by independent counsel and the Illinois State Attorney to refrain from sharing any information or providing commentary at this time. You're just gonna have to wait till it's your turn.
Who is your attorney?
I don't have to tell you that either.
Is that why you included an email here?
You know what? Maybe you should do your homework before you ask some questions.
What homework would that be?
Oh, well,
What homework would that be?
does anybody ever in your life told you no? Because I'm telling you no.
What homework would that be?
No.
No would be the homework?
No.
Okay. As to Trustee Sabri is telling us that this transcript was fabricated and the police report was fabricated. And the first time he ever saw this was on August 10th. So he gets this document that he alleges is fake, fabricated. He takes one look at it and he leaves the room. If any of you out there were to get a document that was purported to be yours, with your words on it, and a police report with your name on it, that you had never seen before, and in your mind was completely fake, is that what you would do? You would just grab it and run out of the room? I wouldn't. I would say, what is this? I've never seen this before. This is a fake. Unless it wasn't, and he didn't know what to do, and he got scared, and he just ran out of the room. I think we just saw Trustee Sabri, the only unelected trustee up here, outright lie to all of Villa Park and all of the board. And I question his truth. I question his integrity. I question his ethics. And I don't think he's fit to serve on this board. I don't know what's going on up here. But between the clerk and Trustee Sabri, some of the comments up here, it's just a disgrace. Sorry, Villa Park. That's the end of my report.
Chaos, Trustee Kumar calls it. When did it start? Well, for me, it was December 5th when the conversation was had. And I'm still having a hard time getting over the fact that Trustee Sabri is outright denying that he created this. And I could understand why the document that I provided with the village letterhead and kind of everything, but how do you deny the county state's attorney's office police report? That's out there. That also is a public document. Read it. Because there's a lot in there as well. Not to mention, Trustee Sabri went to the state's attorney's office and the FBI about, I think what Clerk Lauken is explaining, illegal and criminal activity that he has come into but yet no cases were opened because there is absolutely no evidence. I also think it's unusual that if you were to look at the transcripts, that there are things in that transcripts that only Trustee Sabri would know about. Same with Director Micah, who is also in there. And we talked about protection for staff. And I understand that, I agree. But at the same time, if you do look at the document that I passed out, there's 1, 2, 3.5 pages of names, including staff members, multiple staff members that were named in this document in a private conversation with a village employee outside of the village. And I think there's a lot of blame shifting going on here, because when you look at these documents that were passed out, it's almost like you're comparing, I used village letterhead to give this document to the state's attorney's office, but yet you have a secretly recorded conversation against eavesdropping law, which is clearly defined in that police report. I think I'm just a little taken back by Trustee Sabri, but Trustee Kumar has left. She had also talked about clarity and asking questions. Well, these documents that I produced are not about me. It's about them, village staff, this man to my left, our finance director, and most importantly, the one who illegally recorded this conversation, Trustee Sabri. Again, I am just taken back by the behavior, by the attitude, and the lack of responses. And Villa Park deserves better. Our residents deserve better. Ask the questions, read the documents, please. We're going to be addressing this again in 2 weeks. I ask that you all pay attention to this. Again, a ratification of the scope of the investigation that we already came to. Why is there an attempt to reclassify the scope? Why shouldn't it involve all documents, all phone calls, phone logs? It absolutely should, and it was a part of this. It seems like another technique to discredit the final reporting of an investigation. Blame shift. Hey, look at President Patrick for using village letterhead, but never mind the illegal recording, and let alone the things that were said inside of those transcripts about employees. I mean, who does that? The other question I have, and I think the rest of the residents should ask as well, is how many more of these recordings are out there? How many more transcripts are out there? I don't know. But we do have an investigation. There is a scope. And I hope that when that investigation comes to a conclusion, that this board would be more than willing to release that report to the public as well. That is my ask. Now, I like to end on a good note, a couple of good notes, and I think we will. First of all, on a lighter note, the village met with Mortadelli this last week. Mortadelli is looking to transfer their business elsewhere, more or less, I believe it's 24 St. Charles Road. And I am absolutely in favor of the move to that location. I think it's a great opportunity for them. I think it's better exposure. And this is something that they've come to us and said this is something that they would like to do. I am absolutely in favor of helping them with that. Now, in that conversation, too, we did present them with their Class I license. They did reject that license due to some of the conditions that they didn't agree with at that time. Right now, we are working with that to make those conditions favorable to both sides. However, in that conversation that I had with Mortadelli, it was very important, though, is I clearly stated that while I am in full support of this move, is that the village board has stopped all gaming and new gaming on the St. Charles Road corridor. So Mortadelli is going to be presenting to the board soon about trying to assist with their move. The village can't assist with their move. They're able to move if they so desire. The one thing is that they would not be able to bring on the current license gaming to that location. So that's something that Mortadelli is going to have to consider, or the talks have to keep continuing here. But that lighter note is that we have a great business in town that's looking to do better, looking to grow, bring more to Villa Park, and I am in favor of helping them with that move. I'm not necessarily in favor of the gaming. This is something that we've talked about long enough on this board, but when Mortadelli comes to the board and presents us with that's something that we'll have to consider. But that is something that I think is also exciting for Villa Park here moving forward. Recently, we've had some new businesses open as well. 302, Puerto Nueva. We have more coming. Now, I'll get to Villa Fest in just a minute here, but one of the food vendors that we had there is also looking at coming to a permanent location in Villa Park over by the Burlington Coat Factory in that area as well. If you were able or had the opportunity to go to some of the food vendors that were at Villa Fest, they're outstanding. I believe that this business that's proposing to come to the Burlington Coat Factory area in that mall is going to be an extremely beneficial to the village of Villa Park. Little over a month, the Union project started with one panel of the wall and now is almost halfway done with the skeleton of the first building there. There's amazing progress happening. So while we do have these challenges that we've been faced with as a board, there's plenty to look forward to. Car 321 is coming next spring, and I kind of gave you a teaser last month, but again, here's the cliffhanger. Stay tuned. Car 321 is coming. 5 East Park Boulevard. They're building out that corner for a new restaurant, which will be right across from Car 321. We've got the Garden Village Commission making recommendations for the park benches and expanding parts of those green spaces. We have a new natural park that we are going to unveil the name of here within the next few weeks. We are doing it right. And I think with all the challenges that we've had and faced, the amount of success that we've also had is very important and something that we shouldn't forget. And I do believe that a lot of that success should be given to the man to my left as well. Absolutely. It's not easy. It's not easy doing that kind of job under the types of pressure and everything that has been put on him. But yet, he has come through. And I admire that. So, stay hopeful, Villa Park. We've got this. That's all I have tonight.
Thank you, Mr. President. There's a lot to be hoping for, as President Patrick had said. I want to address this to our staff. We're doing a fantastic job being great stewards of the budget. Revenues are outpacing expenditures this year by $3.9 million. You heard me, $3.9 million. We still have a deficit, but we're doing our job. We're being great stewards of the budget. That's a credit to everyone here. at these tables, including Director Micah. We still have some obligations coming up. We have 4 months left, but I think we're going to be producing a favorable financial year. We're going to be putting a responsible budget together, which we are already working on. And we've already had 2 meetings on it. We have 4 or 5 more to go. And we have an A list, B list, wants and needs. We're creating all that. We'll also be seeking direction from the board and what's important to this board, what's important to this village. So all citizens out there are things that you definitely want to see happen. We know some of the street projects that are out there that have to happen. We know Wisconsin has to happen. We know Washington has to happen, and Westmore. So we know those are projects, but a few that we have to get to. But we also have to find the right funding. Turning gears, Villa Fest was a tremendous success. To many of the people here, sitting here, is a credit to you. It's a credit to the Villa Fest subcommittee that worked so hard. There's a lot of pressure on them, a lot of stress on them, and I saw that. They also were given incredible staff members to assist them. Lily Morgan and Riley and Tim Howe sitting in the room at all these meetings and the plannings, and then everyone else doing their jobs and putting all the action plans together, like fire and police helping put that together, Public Works doing their part, and Parks and Rec doing their part, and Public Works. It all came together, and it was a tremendous success, an absolute tremendous success. I was proud to be there all 3 times, 11 in the morning to film the video, being the dunk tank at 3:30, and then coming back and pouring some libations later in the evening. But one person should stand above everyone else, and that is Lily Morgan. She tirelessly worked her butt off to put this together, where I would like to say it to myself, Villa Fest should also be known as Lily Fest, because the incredible contribution that she put, tireless, the amount of stress that was put on her. The day of, she was running around with her head cut off, and she met every challenge. So she needs to be mentioned at least 3 times, if not many more times, in this meeting. So thank you, Lily. Thank you, Villa Fest Subcommittee. Thank you, everyone from staff that participate, all the volunteers. It's tireless work. It's thankless work. But everybody, to a person, had a great time. And there was no issues that at least reached my desk. So we look forward to what Villa Fest will manifest itself into next year. And that's all I have.
Absolutely. I second that. And again, thank you to staff, all the time and effort that put into that, into Villa Fest, everything that you're doing on the daily. Thank you all. We do have executive session next, 23A, pursuant to 5 ILCS 120/2C1, the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of a public body or legal counsel for the public body. 23B, pursuant to 5 LCS 120/2C11, litigation when an action against, affecting, on, or behalf of the public body has been filed and is pending before a court or administrative tribunal, or when public body finds that an action is probable or imminent. Do I have a motion for executive session?
I'll make that motion.
Trustee Constados, do I have a second?
Second.
Trustee Kozar, thank you. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we will enter executive session at 10:21. Good evening, everybody. Thank you.